Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are sitting in the Horizon Sim Boeing 787-9, and we are going to fly it on a domestic route that's been flown in real life with the 789 by Lufthansa when they introduced it into service last year from Frankfurt to Hamburg and back towards Frankfurt. Both of them have exciting events going on with the Frankfurt overload and the Hamburg heavy traffic, so I do expect that we are going to fly on probably the most highly frequented route that we have available on VATSIM today. So loads of delays to be anticipated, but I do expect that ultimately we are going to get there. Alright, so I would say we jump about into the cockpit, power the airplane up, and when it's powered up, we are going to go ahead with a little bit of a walk around, and then do all the systems setup. All right, and BLK missile, early access to free product. Yeah, it's still in development at the moment. There are a couple things that are going to be refined, but we are going to get there. Alright, so, cool. Let's go ahead and power the airplane up, and then with the lights and everything running, we can do the walk around. And in the meantime, we are going to have a little look into differences between the 787-8, 9, and the 10 that comes by default with the simulator. Alright, so most significant difference, you will be able to see two straight away over here, at least if you haven't flown the Dash 8 yet. For the first one, we have over here the Rolls-Royce engines, which come with the 10 as well, but the General Electric engines are simulated as well. On top of that, have a look at the primary flight display over here, and look how we have the V-bar flight director type over here compared to the crossbar type that is available on the standard aircraft. However, we do have that one as an option, so we can change this around with the other flight director type as well by going down to the index settings, and then in here you can see a little stuff that's changed. For example, we can go for IRS alignment time, that's standard simulator stuff, but we can switch on and off a SATCOM, and we can change the flight director symbol over here. Now I'm going to use the cross pointer since that is what Lufthansa is using in their aircraft, but that's pretty much the two new options we've got. So SATCOM, if we have a look on the outside, that is mostly the outside model. We can see it fitted right on the top over here at the moment, and we can switch that one on or off. So switching it off, here it is gone now, as you can see. Alright, so that is what we have available over here. So I do suppose we are going to run our procedures in a few moments, but what we're going to do at first is we'll take out the Navigraph charts once again in order to get our operational flight plan, decide on the amount of fuel that we want to take, and I can give you a little spoiler already, it is going to be quite a bit, because I do expect that we are going to fly at least a hold or two, but that's going to give us a good opportunity today to check the holdings of the 787 as well, which certainly is going to be, well, quite interesting to see how well those are going to work. Alright then, so that is our setup. Let's have a look into the operational flight plan. The other thing we want to do today, it is quite busy here in Frankfurt as they're running an event, so getting our clearance early is again something we want to do. And hello Mattes, nice to see you as an economy class member for 7 months. Welcome. And LS Gaming, the plane will be available from Horizon Simulations when it is released for public. At the moment it's out for YouTubers and streamers, but I do suppose it is going to come shortly for everyone else as well. Alright, so that's pretty much that part. So just a quick word there about cockpit textures. I do still have the Payware cockpit texture mod installed, otherwise it would use the standard textures. So that's just something to have in your mind. Alright, cool. Then, let's go ahead and make a quick fuel decision here before we run out of time for everything. So, most important things over here, the weather in Hamburg is looking absolutely fine. I do expect good weather all around, with a slight chance for some broken fall in the cloud, but that is not really going to impact us at all flying IFR. Same thing for our alternate Hannover, looking very good as well, so no need to take any extra for that. However, due to the event they're running in Hamburg, I do expect that we might go into some arrival delays. So tell you what, we're going to take half an hour of extra fuel. So that's going to be, as you can see here, 30 minutes equals 2,000 kilograms. So if we take the planned takeoff fuel plus the taxi fuel, round that up, we get 10 tons. So let's make that 12 tons of fuel that we are going to load for today's flight. Alright then, SimReef import to go, user ID as always. You guys know that stuff already from the previous 787 videos. So let's go ahead and run a very quick import over here. So, well, first things first, switch on the IRS. Those things are going to take a little while to align anyway. And then we can go down here. GPS position is looking good. And then route, we're going to request it from SimReef. And when that is in, we're going to do the fuel and payload. And once that is done, we can head out for the walk around. Alright then, route uplink is here, thank you. And you can load that up. Here we go, thanks. And then we're quickly going to go into the settings to load up the payload and fuel. So weight and balance, we're going to set it from OFP. Imports running and imports done. And then in terms of fuel, we're going to increase that a little bit. As we mentioned, it's going to be 12 tons of fuel in the tanks. Alright, perfect. And that's our setup. So with that, we're pretty much good to go. Let's go ahead and use our time. Well, one thing I am going to do real quick before we are going to head out is I am going to go for the IFR clearance, because they are slotting and I want to be absolutely sure that we've got a slot that is going to suit our live stream. Right, what's that? 121.905. Oh, come on. Here we go. That's the one we're looking for.
Number 3. Delivery 127. Just confirm the runway for departure is 25 right. Runway 127, can you shortly? Ready.
Frankfurt delivery, hello, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, information Lima, request clearance to Hamburg.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, hello.
Number 3, okay. Well, I suppose we wait until we have the clearance, then we go out for the walk around. In the meantime, let's quickly go ahead with this.
Information.
So it's a 787-9, and we've got the Trent 1000 engines current database, and you can see down here it's the Horizon Simulations, release candidate number 1, so it's not released yet. In case anybody is watching this one in the replay afterwards, we do not have the release version yet. There are a couple of things that are known about the plane that need to be that we need to think about, and DerbyQ in the comments there is saying it's exactly. I don't know if you've been warned. Yes, I have. Be careful with the rotation. Maybe rotate a couple of knots after VR. It's still somewhat work in progress, and the developers are working to enhance that. So they are working on it. I did play around with it, and yes, it is easy to tailstrike in the beta. They are working on it, so don't worry about that. Okay, cool. So Lufthansa, and we're going to be 4 Yankee Juliet today. Like that. And for the departure, it's 25 center and most likely maroon. What's that? 6 Foxtrot for 2-engined heavy aircraft. And for the arrival, we'll ultimately have to see about it, but I am just going to plan the ILS 15, and that should be all we need. Alright, so let's quickly grab that operational flight plan once more. Might have been a bad idea to close the Navigraph charts that early.
Hamburg, Maroon 7 Mike departure, flight send route, climb via SID, flight level 70, squawk 1000.
Alright, so quick look into the OFP. We're arriving via Nolgo, so Nolgo 2 Whiskey arrival with the Delta Hotel transition. Alright, gonna take that along. So, cost an X30, and then reserve fuel. Well, you've got to calculate that one down here. So reserve fuel is alternate plus final, so that gives me 4.8 tons of reserve fuel. Right, zero fuel weight, we'll take it straight from here, 168.8 compared to what SimBrief has in here, 168.8. So you can see there is no dedicated SimBrief profile for the Horizon Sim 787-9 yet. However, as you can see, if I'm using the standard SimBrief profile and then importing my weights, they match up perfectly. In other words, do we need a dedicated SimBrief profile? Well, we are going to run a couple of fuel checks in flight in order to verify, but at the moment it doesn't really look like we need one. Okay, cool. So that is that part. For the takeoff calculation, we're going to run that a little bit later when we get towards the later procedures. But for now, it will suffice to put in the transition altitude, and that is it. All right, so we're going to insert Frankfurt down here as well with an extended center line. 1246.
Action Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, ready to copy.
Hello, information Lima cleared Hamburg, Maroon 6 Foxtrot departure, flight and route, climb via SID 5000 feet, squawk 1000.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, cleared Hamburg, Maroon 6 Foxtrot departure, flight and route, climb via SID 5000, squawk 1000, EOBT at 30. Alright, so that EOBT was quite important there, because they are slotting, and they basically planned the slots based on our estimated off-block times. So we are in the queue now for getting that slot as requested, but ultimately we'll have to see what they give us when we ask for the startup clearance. I do certainly hope it's not going to be too long. Alright, now that we've got our clearance, we can safely head out for the walk around, and once again I am using my standard drone camera for those, because I still keep getting questions how I do the walk around. So I use the drone. We're gonna put that down to like 3 degrees drone speed and then 45 rotation speed. And that basically gives me a very nice walk-around experience. In case you're wondering, yes, it is lagging a little bit at the moment. That is mostly because of the whole lot of VATSIM traffic we have over here. So it's not related to the aircraft. I did try the aircraft offline and my performance was very good. Right now, online, it is a little bit laggy, but then again, I do put that down to VATSIM. Alright, so starting walk around up here, nose gear, quite a good lot of detail over there, even though obviously they are making use of the standard Asobo as well, but we're going to get to that in a few moments. Alright, so that's all our probes and everything looks good, and do have a quick look over here, by the way, on the PBR effects. You can really see a couple of scratches and everything here where the sun is reflecting from the airplane. That does look pretty cool if you ask me. Alright, so with that discussed, let's go a little bit further forward to the catch the Namibian old part of the plane. And if you're wondering, yes, that is the nose cone of the plane. I recently caught a lovely owl in it and had a hole in the size of a football in my in the nose of the plane, but I suppose that's a story for a different day. So, have a look at the nose of that 787. That shape over here is really beautiful, isn't it? Probably one of the most aerodynamic you can get at the moment. Most certainly if you compare this with, for example, the A350, which is also latest generation. But compared with the A330, for example, and you can easily see why this is more aerodynamic, or why this is such a fuel-efficient aircraft. Alright then, moving on. We've got our cargo doors over here. Now you can see the level of detail over here could probably use a little bit of improvement. And then again, there are some places which are really good as well. So I suppose this is something that's hopefully still a work in progress there. Maybe a couple of decals could do a good job. And now we get to this. Now, you will notice 2 of these lines on the airplane. And I do assume that this is where they cut the plane and cut the parts of the 787-10 out in order to do the 787-9. Alright, so this is just a have a look over here at how that section looks like, as this is one of the larger differences between the 787-10 and the -9. So this is this little border in between the parts of the fuselage. Alright, here we've got our air inlets. Very important to notice on the 787 is that we get our air for the cabin entirely from air inlets like this one. So we don't get any bleed air from the engines anymore, but we get it completely from out here. Alright, quick look into the engine, making sure that all the fan blades have no damages and no nothing the likes. And then we can move on to the rest of the plane. And KLM1613 asking in the comments, is this 787 study level? No, it's not. It is about the systems level of the Asobo 787, which is quite good for everyday flights, but certainly not study level. Alright then, look outside the wing, and then we can move further inwards. And once again, here we've got that second little cutout in the airframe, where parts of the -10 have been taken out, and where the 787-9 is a little bit shortened compared to the 787-10. Alright, and that is pretty much what the side of the airplane looks like. So I suppose from here we're just going to cut the second part of the walk around short, just making sure our airplane hasn't caught any damages and that everything is still alright. And once again, for those of you who just joined a little bit later, yes, the performance is a little bit laggy at the moment, however I do accustom that to VATSIM, as we're in Frankfurt, the airport is almost full with aircraft, and those really take their toll on the performance. Quick look into the main gear bay over here, however, really nice level of detail. And I do suppose that is pretty much everything we can have a look at over here. Okay, so that's the aft part of the engine. Once again, some very nice details in here, and I do suppose that we are going to do a flight in the General Electric engines as well on another day. This one is the Rolls-Royce engines, so that we have seen both by the time they do come out. Alright, so that's the look at the outside of the 787-9. Now let's go ahead back to the inside. That reduces our noise levels a little bit as well over here. And Sky173, morning all, is this available yet? What are they asking for this? It's not available, but it is going to be freeware. That's the best part of all. Alright, what is payware, however, that you're seeing in here is the interior textures. This is the Polystorm 3D cockpit that we've got in here. Alright, so, quick look into the electronic flight back over here, because there is some new stuff in here as well. Flight is initialized, and have a look at that. We've got the door menu available, and we can control the doors right from this very menu. For a quick look over here, we go, that's the one left opening, and so on. So you can see some nice stuff that is actually modeled on the airplane over here that is not in the standard plane. But I suppose we're going to continue exploring that on our turnaround, since we've got our pushback time in 10 minutes already. So I do suppose we don't want to lose our slot. So let's quickly go ahead with our pre-flight procedures. Fueling is finished, so the belts can come on. And that is pretty much it. Okay, that's the overhead done. Now let's quickly set this one up. Now, we're going to talk about the rotation on taxi if we do get the time, but we should have a little bit. And most important thing over here, most important thing on the panel setup right now is just that we don't forget anything, and then we'll be there in a few moments. So, let's see, this is this. Let's go ahead further down. Transponder can remain on standby for now. We've already been assigned Squawk 1000 from air traffic control. So let's set that one in, and then we can continue with our takeoff performance. The takeoff performance data in here has been custom developed from Horizon, so it is accustomed to the Boeing 787-9, and is not just a mere copy of the -10 or something the likes. Alright, so what we are going to do is let's head over to the init reference page, and on here we can simply copy and paste this stuff in right from the simulator, making our life a little bit easier. It's going to be noise abatement procedure number 1, acceleration height at 1000, And now, if we go on copy FMC data, you can see the thing has simply imported what we had there in the FMC. So, dry runway, thrust rating optimum, flap config optimum, anti-ice is going to be off. So, let's run a calculation, see what we are going to get. Here we go, assume temperature, takeoff to 59 degrees. Sounds good, send output. Alright, takeoff data. And we're going to accept that. Here we go. CG will take from here, trim 2.25. And looking at the thrust, this has been entered correctly as well. Alright, very good. So that's our performance stuff completed over there. And Noor, this is the this is not the standard one. And Derby Q, you need to initialize flight on the EFB menu. I tried that. I hit that button, but nothing happened. See that? So I did hit initialize here, but it just comes back out again. But I suppose everything's working, is it? At least as far as I can see. So, one thing that is to notice. I will request the pushback through GSX. However, there is no custom GSX profile for this quite yet. So, don't expect it to run correctly. In this very rare occasion, we cannot blame GSX for an incorrect pushback, but we can only put it on the fact that we just don't have a profile for it yet. But don't worry, I'm sure there is going to be one available very shortly after the release. If not even one developed just through the release as well. Okay, so I do suppose we are going to run a quick departure briefing, and then we are going to request our startup according to our slot. And talking about slots, by the way, how about we quickly go to the simulator's weather menu and change the time to match the real time. That's better. Alright. Very good. So, threats for the departure. I really don't see anything. It's Frankfurt, it's busy, but we're used to that. Alright, so, quick route check. Making sure that the uplink has actually worked correctly. Very important. In my new airline, in the old one we just entered the flight plan manually all the time. In my new one we do uplink it from ACAST, but we still need to carefully check that everything that's been uplinked is actually correct. So let's have a look at that. Maroon 6 Foxtrot towards Maroon. So this is Lorpa and then Maroon. That's not how it's supposed to read, but I suppose that's not part of the 787-9's code, but that is part of the working title code of the working title 787 in behind there. So then from Maroon, Yankee 150 towards Tolgi, direct Sarstedt, Papa 605 Nolgo, and this is what we have in here as well. Alright, so ground distance, we are supposed to have about 300 nautical miles versus 297 nautical miles. Good enough, 8.3 tons remaining, which is plenty of fuel remaining. Alright, in the meantime, wind, let's do a quick wind uplink as well, so that we get the most accurate predictions. Alright, and load on route data page. Yep, load up, thank you. This should illuminate the execute light. Okay, and the forecast is available as well, so we're going to load the climb forecast, and we are going to load the descent forecast. Alright, so last check on the fuel, 8.5 now on arrival, 8.6, that is, all of that still good enough. Alright, cool, so, then continuing with the briefing, the time UTC is 14:24, altimeter 1000, reading 370, flight director's on, and the standby instruments are set. Left sea takeoff, runway 25 center, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2, and engine out, we just go straight at, and pick up the whole 25 miles out. MSA 4300, so in 5000 we are going to be safe. Emergencies as briefed in the crew room and on the way to the airplane, so let's continue with our taxi briefing now. And we are parking up here on the Alpha West apron. Pushback to the left, taxi out November 8, and then we can take either November 7 or November 8. And Lima, and we are only able for Lima 3 or Lima 1. We are not able for any of those intersections over here. Okay, Maroon 6 Foxtrot on of departure, we have that one in here. So let's quickly bring that up. Over to the plan mode. For the departure itself, contact lung radar when advised by the tower, 120.155. Speed max 250 at or below flight level 100, and that is checked. And MSA, as mentioned, 4,300 the highest. And do note, they have somewhat changed the MSA here in Frankfurt. It's now around Frankenstein VOR, which is located down here in the south. So this part, all of that, is actually in the 4,300 area. Right then, for the routing of Maroon 6 Foxtrot off 25 center, that's going to be 800 feet, and then Delta Foxtrot 243, which we've got in here, and then Delta Foxtrot 233, 3,500 feet or above, Delta Foxtrot 132, 4,400 feet or above, Taboom, Lixi, Lorpa, and Maroon. And that's it. Any questions? I suppose that's a no, so let's go ahead with the pre-flight checklist. Pre-flight checklist complete. Alright, let's risk it. Let's call a GSX pushback. Probably ain't gonna go good, but as I mentioned, in this case we don't have profile for the aircraft.
Yankee Foxtrot, Roger, startup approved, hold position, apron, 121, 855, tschüss. Startup approved, holding position, 121, 855.
Okay then, V2 was 155, let's quickly pre-select that as well. Here we go, Alnaf and VNAV. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, request startup.
And delivery, sorry, to Polar 699. What's the frequency for the Hebron 121.655? Because nobody's flying that one.
So in that case, try now 121.955.
11955. Pablo 699.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, request startup.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Roger, standby.
Alright, I suppose they're working on the background. I do hope the fact that we told them our slot so early would eventually get us the startup when we actually wanted it. And I do sincerely hope that they don't just put us into the line at the very end right now that we've requested startup, but we'll see. And Pilot Chris, can I share a link where to download it? Well, if I do that, then I'm probably never gonna get something from Horizon again, because it is still a beta preview, so it's not released yet.
Austin 152.
Alright, so how about our clearance? In the meantime, Lucas, what does request startup actually mean? Oh, that's for us. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, startup approved, 121.855, ciao.
Negative. That was for Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet, please stay with.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, startup approved, 121.855, ciao.
Ciao.
Okay, so let's see if that's gonna work. Nah, look at that. We cannot tune 121.855 here, it seems. Let's just try that one more time. 121.855. Yeah, now it works, okay. Alright, here we go. Then let's go ahead and request our pushback clearance.
The 4 Charlie Juliet, join November 7, hold short of link, please.
Frankfurt Apron, hello, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, Alpha 62, request pushback.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Apron, hello, I call you for pushback, expected aid for outbound traffic to pass.
Roger. Alright, so probably somebody behind us. Yep, there he is. We gotta wait for that A321 there at first. Even though he could probably just go over to the left and taxi by November 7 behind that guy. But I suppose ATC is onto it, so we'll just wait over here. In any case, we do have startup clearance, so let's go ahead and prepare the entire airplane for our flight.
Bravo, I call you for taxi. At the moment it's occupied.
Alright, so before start checklist. Passenger signs. On, MCP, set, takeoff speeds. V1 140, VR 146, V2 155. CDU pre-flight completed. Trim. Alright, let's go ahead and set that. 2.55 it should be.
Stop the Romeo Mike is ready to set. 5 Romeo Mike, runway 25 center.
And we're trimming, and we're trimming, and we're trimming. Oh boy, this goes too well with it. I should stop. Okay, so trim is set, taxi and takeoff briefing completed, B4 start checklist complete. So, quick recall, we've got a cabin temperature on there. Let's see what that is about. Probably just complaining that it cannot control it. But that's fine. Once we started the APU, it probably will be able to control it. Even though I'm wondering if the cabin temperature over here should be suppressed, if the airplane simply doesn't have an APU online to actually, you know, temperate the cabin. But well, we're gonna get there. So APU is coming up now. By the way, how manyth time is this that I almost forgot the APU on the 787? I really don't know what it is with this aircraft. But well, I suppose it's fine either way. And Rema, this is freeware for Frankfurt. This is Project FRA. Google for that. It's a really good freeware scenery. A little bit hard on the frame rate, but then again, this is a really large airport. Oh, Derby Q. If I retract the speed brake, that temperature alert is going away. That's interesting. Is that a feature? Is that a feature then?
Via Lima, hold short of November 5. Lima short of November 5, Lufthansa to the 9 Yankee Foxtrot, runway 18, taxi via November 5.
Alright, potato for the Frankfurt scenery. You can simply Google it. It's on flightsim.to and they've got their own website on, I believe it's virtualfra.org or something.
Opposite direction, company of AC21, join November 8 and taxi to gate Alpha 52.
What's that? I thought he was talking to us. Alright, so where is that inmount that prevents us from pushback now?
Via November 7, hold short of link 3.
I got no idea where that guy is, but our slot is about to run out in 2 minutes. But then again, we're just waiting for a traffic now, so I don't know how they do it on VATSIM. In real life, if they would tell me I missed my slot because of this, then I would absolutely go havoc on them, but I suppose we will find out. Okay, so well, question down there in the chat, like from Lucas 2010-2004. Hey, what was it with the request startup? Is that like a pushback request? No, it's not a pushback, but startup basically means that air traffic control allows the flight to start their engines. And that is like the first request you need to get before you can go for pushback. So the pushback at Frankfurt, for example, is handled completely by the apron control. And only once air traffic control has released the flight. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet and clear the 320 left right behind, push approved, face west. Alright, that's the 320 back there. Alright, so GSX.
Take the next right, please.
Continue pushback. Yeah, facing west. Suppose I don't know which area that is, 5 or 7. We'll have to ask him.
12197, Christian 955 for 5 Matrix.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, confirm pushback into area 5 or area 7?
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, area 5 face west is appreciated.
Area 5, and I can't promise what GSX is going to do with that. Lufthansa 4 Yankey Juliet. Alright, so release park and brake, then let's see, APU is online, the external power is disconnected. Well, it's not disconnected, but that's all we can do with it. So, we just gotta hope that it's actually going to face west now. We'll see about it.
Hold short of November.
But that's why I told our traffic control that I can't guarantee it. Alright, so off we go.
Again, what was the request? Charlie Juliet, Roger, join Alpha 16.
Alright, we are going to wait a little bit for we're going to wait a little bit with the engine start. Keep in mind it's a 787, so we can actually start both engines at the same time. So we're just going to delay this a little bit, and we can cancel all the alerts over here, so that in case something new comes up during engine start, it is going to show up automatically. Alright then.
Austin 1 Bravo.
So, off block with just 6 minutes of delay. That's what I call German efficiency. And the nose is going left, that means we are facing west indeed. So GSX is actually doing a good job as well. I'm impressed, look at that. GSX attached to the correct point, GSX is pushing us back correctly. I didn't expect that without a dedicated profile for the aircraft. That is really good. Or did Horizon maybe do a little bit of magic with their 787-9 model? Maybe they included a profile somewhere where I couldn't see it. Okay, so that looks pretty good over here. Only the ramp agent right next to the engine, that is a little bit disturbing down there. As I've got a feeling that that might eventually end up in the need for, well, I'll not say it, otherwise YouTube is gonna demonetize the channel. But this does not look like I should start my engine like that. Right, so over here is release point number 5. So that is where the pushback got approved to, area 5. So I'm just about to wait until the marshaller is actually stopping to run behind the engines, and then we're going to commence engine start. Alright, the marshal has stopped over there. I tend to say it's safe to commence engine start now. Okay, parking brake is set. Engine start, both at the same time, fully automatic. Really neat. Technically speaking, we don't even need to watch it, because it's going to alert us to anything that might go wrong, which is quite nice. And the aeronautics fanboy. The ramp agent in GSX always makes me question EasyJet ops, since we start into 1 first and the ramp agent is basically in the engine. Yeah. As Walker, GSX rampies have a short lifespan. Indeed. Ah well, let's not turn this into another GSX livestream. I do have to say, GSX is doing a very good job today, so it is actually alright. I expected much worse for an aircraft without a profile, to be honest, so it is actually working quite good. Okay, 2 good starts, clear disconnect, clear side left, and have a good one.
Lufthansa 7-5 Charlie, taxi via November 7 Blue.
Okay, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Okay then, recall, engines, before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, auto, recall, checked, flight controls, checked, ground equipment, clear, APU, shutting down. Before taxi checklist complete. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, request taxi.
For Yankee Juliet, runway 25 center, taxi via November 8, Lima, hold short of November 4.
November 8, Lima, hold short November 4, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Alright, that's out, straight out, left turn, and then hold short off November 4. Lights on, clear left side, clear right side. And look at that, the plane is taxiing on idle thrust, but let's add just a tiny bit more, so that we don't take forever to reach that holding point.
Lufthansa 5, Charlie, Juliet, runway 2.
Large aircraft here that we're
via
taxiing,
November
so
7, November 7,
we're gonna
orange,
keep things
Lima, hold short of
slow.
November 4.
Normally we say on long haul, things can take a long time, so don't rush the taxi. But we'll see how it is eventually going to behave today.
Airplane good, Lufthansa 171, lift push back.
Lufthansa 171, April, hello. When clear of
Oh, two other aircraft over there. But we are on November 8, they are probably cleared via November 7, so we should be clear of them. Right, on the left side everything is clear. So, oversteering technique, quite important. Look at that, where the center line is going, but now look at it from the outside, and you'll see the main wheels are actually quite spot on the center line there. Right, we continue straight, then a slight right turn, left again, and then left on Lima. So, those guys there are clear.
1551, apron, hello. For now, hold short of November 8.
Maximum wingspan on all of these is 65 meters over here. So we are fine with our 787.
Apron, hello, Lufthansa, 33 uniform on Lima. The 33 uniform, apron, hello.
Alright. Ryanair at the Lufthansa terminal? Wow. Alright, so those guys are clear. There's one standing on November 7 up there. But he's clear as well. Okay, so we gotta go to the right now. Those of you who've been flying in Frankfurt a little bit longer will probably be aware that November 8 used to be straight ahead here. But they have changed that about a year or two ago. Now November 8 is actually going slightly to the right, and there are a couple of gates in the front there. It's quite interesting when you're flying in VATSIM occasionally and you're parking at one of those gates, and then some guys just think, oh, November 8 is going right through that, so let me just taxi through it. Nope, that is certainly not what you should do, but that's happening way too often on VATSIM. So always compare the charts if you're not familiar with the area. I, for my part, am quite familiar with this area of Frankfurt Airport for now. That's the reason why I don't have any charts open for you guys to see. However, I would still have them on my iPad lying right next to me in case I needed them. Okay, so 10 knots, that's the maximum. The Lufthansa is waiting over there. And the guys over there are clear as well. Very good. Okay, 10 knots maximum for the turn. Slow it down a little. Here we go.
When company on November 8, join the Alpha taxi to gate.
Okay, gotta have a close look on that one, where that is going, because we are cleared all the way through to November 4.
For Yankee Juliet, this way to the traffic out of the orange line from November 7.
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, number 2 behind the company, 320. Alright, so we are behind him.
Lufthansa 7 Alpha on Lima.
7 Alpha, hello.
Looking good. Okay then, looks like we are number 3 for the departure. Hold shot November 4, that's in the middle of the next terminal, so we can continue straight ahead for a bit. Okay, cool.
The uniform company called, it's a gate change now because Alpha 52 is somehow occupied. It's gonna be Alpha 54 now.
Alright, so takeoff review. Let's see takeoff.
Yankee Juliet, contact 121 decimal 955.
121 decimal 955, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, tschüss.
Lufthansa 3 uniform, when the company from the left, taxi Alpha 54 via November 8.
Negative is Lima, hold short Lima 3. Lima, hold short Lima 3, Lufthansa 5, Charlie.
Airplane hello, Lufthansa 4, Charlie, correction, for Yankee Juliet, on Lima short November 4.
For Yankee Juliet, Frankfurt Airplane hello, continue via Lima, hold short of Lima 3.
Lima short Lima 3, Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet. Alright, so we continue straight ahead to the end, and we go for a full-length departure. Let's continue with the departure briefing. Left seat takeoff on runway 25 center, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2, and the Maroon 6 Foxtrot departure straight out with a right-hand turn, climb to 5,000 feet. It is going to be a rather rapid climb, so we are going to maximize the use of the automatics over here, and see how those are performing, and we'll limit the vertical speed as required. Alright, in case of an engine failure, we can proceed on the runway heading, climb to 5,000 feet, and then we'll take vectors through the south back for a landing on runway 25 center. And Frankfurt certainly is the best option we have in the area. Alright, any questions? No? Very good.
Before Yankee Juliet, contact Tower 118, Decimal 78, bye-bye.
118, Decimal 78, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, true.
Have a good day, Lufthansa 151.
Okay then, B4 takeoff checklist. B4 takeoff checklist complete. Frankfurt Tower low, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet heavy, ready for departure.
Mr. 4 Yankee Juliet, hello, taxi Lima 3 holding point.
Lima 3, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
KLM 15 Lima Delta, line up runway 25.
Okay, cool, so the KLM is lining up, and I do believe there is one more in front of the Hansa over here. Yes, there is. So for us it's gonna be like 6 minutes waiting time or something the like.
5 Charlie Juliet, hello, taxi Lima 3, hold short of runway 25 center.
Okay, looks pretty good to me. Typical Frankfurt taxi out time, by the way. That is exactly what I'm used to over here. Okay, that Lufthansa is going to the intersection. That one is going full length as far as I remember. Yeah, Lima 4 here, so Lima 3 is there.
Marabu 481 Hotel Cross, now Yankee 10, then taxi via Yankee and hold short of Lima.
So, very important, we are not going to stop the airplane in the turn over there. Otherwise we are not going to get it rolling again. Instead we'll just stop on Lima over here and only then taxi in Lima 3 when we can make the complete turn without stopping in the turn.
Marabu 481 Hotel, if able expedite crossing the departure sector and contact now apron on 121755.
Just gotta make sure that guy over there is not going to take our place.
Super, danke. Lufthansa 2 Kilo Mike, contact departure 120155, ciao.
120155 for Lufthansa 2 Kilo Mike, danke, ciao.
Alright. Brake set, departure frequency 120155, he said. We can pre-select that one as well. Alright, so takeoff rotation. This is probably just a thing of the beta pre-release version that we have here at the moment. The airplane is going to be quite prone to tail strike on the rotation. For that reason, if it really happens, then we are going to continue the flight, because we'll put it down to a flight simulator-ism. However, what we'll do to prevent the tail strike as good as we can is we are going to go, we're going to rotate very slowly, and as soon as the nose starts coming up the ground, we're going to relax the control column a bit again. That might stop the continuous rotation, but nonetheless, nonetheless, we are going to, yep, just see how it goes really. That's really the only thing we can say about that.
And jet 045 after landing vacate runway to the left.
Alferno, is this freeware or payware? It is freeware. And lighter, the 787-9 is currently in development by Horizon Simulations, and this is a preview version that we have over here. The scenery itself is from a virtual FRA, so indeed, except for GSX and the Hamburg Airport scenery today, we are all the way using freeware stuff on today's live stream, which is quite nice. I honestly have to say the freeware community in the Maxar Flight Simulator world is the most amazing I've seen so far. They're doing such a great job developing so many of these things here.
Can you please give us contact?
Alright, we'll go straight just a little bit, just so that nobody can accidentally turn into here, so that we secure our place in the line. But as I mentioned, we are not going to turn in if we need to stop the airplane on the turn. That's just not good for heavy aircraft. So everything is clear in front, and I am going to stop straight over here. What's going to be interesting here, if you have a look at our departure over here, then you can see that we are basically going straight off to the right. Now, most departures going towards Maroon in Frankfurt will go to the left and then fly southbound on a U-turn back northbound, basically doing noise abatement. However, heavy two-engine aircraft basically don't do that. We get a shortcut to the right because we cannot meet all those restrictions they have on the southerly departures. So let's see how they're going to handle it. It means quite a challenge for air traffic control, because it means that the standard instrument departure we fly is a lot shorter than that for example, the medium two-engine aircraft like the A320 that you have just taking off and that you have just lining up over there. So air traffic control needs to be quite on top of things when they do get us out here eventually, and I am looking forward to how they're going to handle that. Or if we are just going to lose separation and then we'll do some fancy 90 degrees off turns, like we've seen so many times already. But I do trust them, they know what they're doing over here in Frankfurt. Indeed, I've been controlling in Frankfurt and Watzen as well, and I know that there's a lot of great guys in the local regional group, so I am confident that we are going to have a very good departure here. Nonetheless, just somewhere in the back of our minds, we are prepared for watching out for other traffic and the possibility to lose separation.
Lufthansa 494 is clear to land 25 left, wind 220 degrees 12 knots.
Right, the windsock is slightly from the left at about 10 knots, as we can see. Every single one of those markers on the windsock here basically marks 5 knots, so we've got 2 markers straight, so we've got about 10 knots of wind speed over there.
Get 045, I'm taxiing via Romeo, but what is my stance? Should I take left or right?
Right turn Romeo, please hold short of Sierra 23.
To the right, get 045, on Romeo.
Alright.
5 Mike Tango, connect departure.
Oh, lovely A380 coming in. We gotta watch him.
5 Charlie 2, wind 220 degrees 13 knots, 25 clear takeoff.
Come on, don't vanish behind the other one. Here we go. Greased it. Nice. Very nice.
So before you get to it, line up 25 center, expect to release in about 2 minutes.
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, line up runway 25 center. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, before takeoff checklist is confirmed complete.
Free speed for you. Free speed and the November. So the 494 taxi Mike 30 Cat 2 holding for runway 25.
Okay, we're clear on the left, and since we have to wait anyway, we might as well just take it slow. So the preceding aircraft is probably departing towards the same waypoint, but on the longer sit, and that's basically what I just talked about, so ATC is on top of it. Very good to have that in mind.
Jet 045, hold short of Sierra 23, contact apron 121 955. So der 4 Lima November, wind 220 degrees 13 knots, 25 left, clear to land. 25 left, clear to land, so der 4 Lima November.
Wow, look at the amount of aircraft waiting over there. I suppose we have been lucky.
Jet 045, tower.
Yes, 045.
Contact apron 121 955.
121 955, yes, 045.
Tower, hello, Lufthansa 7 Hotel, ILS 25 left, 780 me. Lufthansa 7 Hotel, Tower, hello, roger. Lufthansa 171, are you able Lima 6 or Lima 4?
Alright, so we might as well take the lineup slow. Number 1, heavy aircraft. Number 2, we know that we are going to be a little later for our takeoff anyway.
Lufthansa 171.
Here we go. So, beautiful. Just beautiful. Really looking forward to this flight, I gotta say.
From the 5 Charlie Papa Frankfurt, hello.
Alright, so clearance should come any moment now. Oh nice, A350 over there, so we got the direct comparison between the two. Which one do you like more, the A350 down there or our 787? Do let me know in the comments below, guys. Do let me know. I'll tell you my personal favorite after we are airborne, and I'll also tell you why.
So 4904, expect crossing behind next departure, I'll call you in a minute. 494. So the 4 Lima November, right turn off, then left turn
747 behind that, just lovely.
Aye.
So many cool aircraft here.
Lufthansa 7 Hotel, wind 220 degrees, 13 knots, 25 left, clear to land. Central line 255, Lufthansa 7 Hotel. So the 4 Yankee Juliet, wind 210 degrees, 13 knots, 25 center, clear takeoff.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, runway 25 center, clear for takeoff. Alright then. Stabilized. Set, takeoff, thrust. Yeah, here we go. Thrust set. 80 knots, checked. Alright, careful on the rotation, we are aware of the tail strike issue. Rotate.
Continue via Mike, Yankee 1, hold short, Yankee 10.
Alright, we made it without a tail. We even got the tail strike warning. How's that? That was just 7.5 degrees. Positive climb. Gear up. So as I mentioned earlier, if that warning comes up, we are going to disregard it. So we are going to cancel that away.
Come to 25 center, right, Lima, short level 14, that's 1
Alright, autopilot on.
Right turn, Mike. Then continue now, Mike 10, hold the decap 2, holding point runway 25 center.
Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Checklist incomplete normal, disregard.
The 4 Yankee Juliet, contact
Flaps
radar
up.
120155, ciao.
120155, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, ciao.
From the 4904, call Apron 1175.
Blankradar, wunderschönen guten Tag, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, passing 2100, climbing 5000.
From the 4 Yankee Juliet, hello, climb flight level 70.
Climb flight level 70, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Set, 7000 checked. That's what I meant, very high rated climb here. Let's see if we can somewhat limit that still. Let's make it a climb 2. Okay, checklist incomplete norm, yeah, don't bother me with it. After takeoff checklist. Oh, interesting, it lost the before takeoff checklist. We had that one complete on the ground, and the after takeoff checklist is completed as well now. Very good. Okay, vertical speed. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 57 now. Checked. And that's 1000 to go. Here we go. So, they are getting us below...
Yankee Juliet, there's Alpha traffic in your 11 o'clock position, crossing left to right, 1000 feet on top of cleared level, expect higher in 2 minutes, high speed approved.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, high speed approved, roger. Okay, let's see if we can find the other guy, and if he gives us high speed already, then... Tell you what, we're just gonna do 300 knots here.
The 4 Yankee Juliet, continue on present heading.
Present heading, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. That's probably clearing us off the traffic a little bit earlier if we continue on the present heading. But we don't have that guy on TCAS yet. Does anybody of you know if the TCAS is working in the 787? In the meantime, let's just go outside for a moment, see if we can find the other traffic. And besides, have a look at that wonderful 787.
The 4 Yankee Juliet, climb flight level 90.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, climb flight level 90. Set. Vertical speed. Approaching.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, turn right heading 360.
Right heading 360, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, heading select. $1,000 to go. So quite a busy departure, but he's vectoring us around the traffic. That's quite nice. So at least we can do a somewhat continuous climb over here. Alrighty, then. So, Coyote, the TCAS does work on the 787. Interesting, then we just didn't see the
Lufthansa 4
airplane.
Yankee Juliet, climb flight level 130, proceed direct Maroon.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, climb flight level 130, direct Maroon. Okay, let's go level change so that VNAV doesn't pull our speed back. And then we can go direct to
Connect radar
Maroon.
124.730.
124.730 Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, Maroon, LNAV available. LNAV. Right then. 124.730.
Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet, proceed direct NAV. Direct NAV to Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet.
Landradar, wunderschönen guten Tag. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, Level 908, climbing 130.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, ach, bin ich wieder, hallo, identified. Climb flight level 160.
War nicht gehört, climb flight level 130, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Yankee Juliet, confirm 160.
160, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Right, set. 160 checked, and we're back in VNAV. Alright, passing 10,000, so the lights can go off. Seatbelts. Yeah, I tell you what, this seems to be smooth for the rest of the flight. Seatbelts auto, and we'll keep the climb gear rate in so that we don't climb too fast. Those 3,000 feet a minute we're doing over here are just about fine. We gotta tame our aircraft somehow, do we? I mean, this can do like 15, 16 hours flights, so we gotta keep that a little bit under control.
And 166, you have to cross the limit at level.
Alright. So, approaching.
Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet, contact Rhein on...
So 3,000 feet to go, that means maximum 3,000 feet a minute. 2,000 feet to go, 2,000 feet a minute, 1,000, 1,000. And that prevents Northern's TCAS RAs. Climb flight level 240, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Set. Now it's set. 240 set, or checked. Either way around works. So you might have seen that I am constantly changing here between the auto position and the 1000 position. The reason we do this is because in the 1000 position obviously it's just easier to change your flight level. But if you keep it in 1000 and then accidentally you touch it, it goes to a full 1000, so it might not be as easy to catch that you've done a mistake over there than if you keep this in the auto position, and if you then accidentally touch it, it might show you something like 24,100, and well, that is easy to catch on the instrument, since that's not an altitude you would normally be cleared to. So that is how we handle this switcher over there between hundreds and thousands. Very nice to use it for switching when you are clear to a new flight level. However, very recommendable to put it back into the 100 positions for your actual flight. Holger Kneip, horizontal stabilizer looks weird from the outside. Let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at that stabilizer, see what it looks like. It looks alright to me. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. It looks a little bit like it is tilted upwards. Or sorry, like it is tilted downwards, does it? I think I know what you mean. Let's have a look from straight behind. I think I know what you mean. This should be bent a little bit up or downwards, should it? Upwards, probably. I know what you mean, yeah. I mean, in the end, it will come down to Horizon simulations to check for the model. But yeah, I get what you mean, you know, this should probably... The tip should probably be a little bit higher, that it's moved like that in a tiny V shape. I believe that is what you probably mean, is it?
Yankee Juliet contact, Rhein on 133.655.
133.655, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, tschüss. So let's check on the optimum level quickly before we call him.
I'll check the formal Fox so that the copy. 5 minutes, please.
Let's see, optimum 397, top of descent in 80 miles. Yeah, I tell you what, 350 is totally fine there. That's filed. Rheinradar, hello, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet Heavy, level 211, climbing 240, request 350.
For Yankee Juliet was calling.
Hey, firm.
For Yankee Juliet, 985.
Sorry, somebody blocked you out, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet. Say again.
Lufthansa 8 Papa Juliet, passing level 203, climbing 257. 8 Papa Juliet, please wait for the readback. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Rhein.
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, yeah, please say again, the other guy blocked you.
Yeah, climb flight level 28.
Climb flight level 280, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet. Set, 280 checked. Yeah, with the amount of traffic we have today, it becomes very easy for the other guys, you know. You hear Lufthansa, you hear Juliet at the end, so might be rather easy to mistake those call signs. For that reason, might just want to play with it a little and listen very carefully to the frequencies. You know, if you are not 100% sure that a call is not for you, just don't answer it. The ATC is going to make the call again. And if it was for somebody else, they might still answer. So, for that reason, if you're not 100% sure a call is for you, just don't answer it and they will eventually get back to you. Right, our rate of climb is starting to drop a little bit, and if we look at that, the comparison between top of climb and top of descent, that is very close to one another, so that descent might look a little bit long though, but we'll see about it. But tell you what, let's increase the climb thrust a little bit here, and then we'll see on what we're actually going to get with that. In the A330, by the way, we have those climb D-rates as well, and we would normally stick with our selected D-rate for the climb until the rate of climb falls to 500 feet a minute or less. However, on a short flight like the one we are doing right now, I don't see much sense doing that. For that reason, I am simply increasing the climb thrust a little bit so that we reach our top of climb a little bit earlier, making it worth to actually climb to the higher level. That's just tactical use of our climb D-rates. Normally, you would want to keep the highest D-rate for as long as possible, as it does enhance the life of the engines. Alright, so, Kyle Summers, short leg today for that wide body. Indeed it is. But Lufthansa actually flew those in real life, when they introduced the aircraft and needed to do the line training on it. And Sayed Atif, could you please explain how to taxi on link 3 and 5 between November's 8 and 7? Well, basically just have a close look at the chart, look at where those links are, and then you can use them to transition from one taxiway to the other. 134.710 Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, tschüss. Man, I called that frequency a lot in real life. Maastricht, hello, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet Heavy, level 275, climbing 280.
For Yankee Juliet, Maastricht, hello, climb flight level 350.
Climb flight level 350, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet. Set, 350 checked. Alright, and that's our clearance to cruise level. So let's take the climb D-rate out completely, bringing us to the top of climb tiny bit earlier again. Like that. Alright, in the meantime, we can start looking into the arrival ADAS. and start preparing for our approach into Hamburg. So they do have an ATIS on frequency 124.325. Let's tune that in the number 2.
The 5 to X-ray contact Bremen 125.855. Ciao.
125.855, ciao.
Delta Mike Oscar contact Maastricht 20.
Can we listen to that somehow? No. Looks like that is a little bit buggy right now. I can't switch that on. Okay, well, tell you what, then we are going to return to 1 on here. And we are just going to use the tech status. What?
Radar, hello, B-line.
What did he just say?
B-line 2587, Maastricht identified, hello.
Well, he's gonna say it again. That's what I meant earlier. If you're unsure, just wait and they will call you. Alright, so in the meantime we just continue with the arrival preparation. So Hamburg has information kilo at the moment. Expect ILS approach runway 15 and transition level 70. So let's go ahead and fill all of that stuff out as we go along. So 70, the winds are in already. Okay, wind 090 at 4, visibility 10, clouds few in 400 feet, temperature 12, QNH 9R7. Alright, it's pre-selected. And that's about it. So, let's dig out the Navigraph charts to do the final preparations for the arrival. Somewhat annoying that it always asks me if that a simulator flight plan is detected. Like, yeah, I know that. I've clicked it away 2 times already. But maybe that's something they can do a little bit of work on. Alright, so...
minimum clean speed, you're about 100 knots faster than the aircraft in front.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, there is no minimum clean above level 250, but we are flying standard speeds, 295.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, then reduce 240 knots.
Unable Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, we can give you 280 minimum.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, turn right heading 050, speed 280 knots.
Speed 280, heading 050, but honestly, if that guy's going 100 slower, you should probably talk to him rather than to us.
Die anderen sind alle ungefähr so schnell. Ich kann auch nur machen, was der nächste von mir möchte.
Also ich habe 60 Knoten Tailwind hier. Mehr kann ich dir nicht sagen.
Glaube ich dir, ich kann es aber leider nicht sehen.
Yeah, that's incredible. Preceding guy is 100 knots slower. Like, how? What is he doing? If we need to fly the entire flight, like, his request for 240 knots, you know, you don't fly that slow in a plane like this. You don't do it. I mean, that is ridiculous. A guy going 100 knots slower, like, how can you do that? I don't understand. I mean, even if you fly Mach 7.5 or so, that's, you know, 30 knots less. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet out of interest. What aircraft type is it ahead of us? Interesting. Either our real weather is totally messed up, or there is something seriously wrong with the other guys ahead. I want to check on that real quick. Let's have a look into the OFP and see what SimBrief has for the upper level winds.
Maastricht, Leipzig Air6261 climbing flight level 31.
No, look at that. Our winds are alright. This is like 60 knots tailwind. So it's not Maxstar Flight Simulator messing this up. It has to be incorrect real life weather for the guy ahead of us, or maybe he's just not using any real weather at all, which is forbidden on VATSIM, by the way. You must use real weather when you're flying on VATSIM. You're not allowed to fly with anything else. That's part of the code of conduct, because as you can see right now, if that guy is going 100 knots slower, there is absolutely no way we can cope with that with our aircraft. The only way to cope with it is to fly zigzag for the entire rest of the route now. Which I don't get how we shall possibly do that. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I mean, latest on the approach, you know, when everyone is getting slow and that guy is getting even slower than the rest of us, that's gonna mess everything over. But well, let's go ahead with our approach preparation. ATC has to sort that somehow. I don't care how. Well, I do care how, because I'm not going to go into a holding because the guy is not obeying the code of conduct from VATSIM. But well. And just to be 100% sure, we are not accidentally running time acceleration, are we? Let's click that clock. No, that is running real time. That is not accelerated. It's not us. That much I can say.
Lufthansa 532, jetzt descent flight level 250. Descent flight 250, Lufthansa 532.
Alright. I got no idea how that is working now. I just don't know. How can a guy be 100 knots slower? We're doing Mach 0.81. Even if the guy is going 7-0, he's not going to be 100 knots slower. I have no idea how. Anyway, let's continue with our approach preparations. So we've got 109.55 and 151 versus 150 on the chart. Well, that's good enough for me, really. Minimum's 255, I believe, for a 787-9. No.
Hello, Lufthansa 45.
We are a 3146, so we are a category Delta aircraft then. Okay, so minimum's 265.
Hello. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, left heading 020.
Left heading 020 Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, and I just checked, our weather seems to be correct, so I've got no idea how we are that much faster, sorry.
Yeah, I believe you. No worries. Juliet 2587, descent level 250. Level 250, V-line. Right. Lufthansa 5 Mike Tango, contact Bremen 15.
Right, so setting that minimum is still a little annoying here. Let's see if we can somehow tune that in. 265. Slowly but steadily going the right direction. Here we go, 265. Okay, let's see. For the fuel, 7.7 now, so we're gonna burn like 700 kilos, makes it 176.5. We're gonna do flap 30 landing, otherwise we are just gonna be too quick for everybody else in the area. And if we have a look at the chart, then you can see 3,700 meters of runway. I don't think we have a landing performance calculator here. No, we don't. That's grayed out. Okay. That's really a pity. People just seem to care about takeoff config calculations, but landing, nobody seems to care about. In any case, we are probably going to need a little bit more runway than Alpha 6 over here, so we'll probably go to Bravo 5 or something to vacate, and then we'll see how we're going to get taxi. I don't think there are too many stands capable of handling the 787, but that's not going to be our problem. That's going to be ATC's problem. So I believe it's actually only those couple of ones up here, so I do hope any of these is available. Otherwise... yeah, I don't know where to fit the airplane on otherwise. Maybe they can put us straight across a couple of the cargo stands down here? We'll see about it. Alright, in any case, quick check of our routing in here, making sure that everything is correct. So,
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, descent flight level 250.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, descent level 250, and confirm 280 knots. Roger. So, 250, level change, speed 280. Didn't I hit level change? Might have hit VNAV accidentally. Didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Okay, so no-go between 110 and 4000 is as expected. Then 428, max 2, no, at 220 knots. Above 4000, 429er, 430.
4175, you can see 27, bye-bye.
431, 32, 33, and so on. Now, at the end, we do make that turn to the final ourselves, so it's not one of those stars ending in a vector. So that is correct in our box. Then it's going to be 455, 456, 457, and from there we start the approach onto the ILS-15. 457 and eventually to Devot, and that is 170 knots minimum. They don't say we can't go faster, we can go faster, but it's a minimum of 170 knots. Okay, missed approach then, straight at 3D Ulster. 125 Decimal 855, Lufthansa, Frankie Juliet, bis später, tschüss.
Baltic 7 Delta Bravo, contact Bremen 124 Decimal 175, vorbei.
124 Decimal 175, Bravo.
Bremen, hallo, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, heavy level 320, descending 250, speed 280 knots, heading 020.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Bremen, hallo, identify. Descent flight level 110 and expect direct to Bravo.
Descent level 110 and expecting Raro Protein, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, so they're changing our star so that we don't get in a conflict with a slower aircraft ahead of us. Alright, well, that is the way to do it. If it works, elegant solution, I have to say. We're probably going to be Raro 2 Papa, I believe, for runway 15? No? 2 Delta, let's quickly check those charts. Yeah, Raro 2 Delta seems to be it. Okay, so we reprogram that. Arrival, index, arrive. And for the star, it's going to be Raro 2 Delta for an ILS-15. Execute that, and we'll just take Raro on top already. Alright, so, that is pretty much our routing corrected now. Okay, so the routing now is via Raro 417, 412, 413, 414, and so on into the downwind, and then back onto the final with a missed approach as we have just discussed it, climbing to 4,000 feet. Minimums on the arrival, 265 for a Cut Delta aircraft, and we have that. Very good, so I suppose that's it. Not much more that we can actually do or discuss over here. In that case, recall, disregarding the tail strike over there. I don't believe it was one. We just reached 7.5 degrees. That shouldn't be a tail strike attitude for the aircraft, but as we briefed earlier on.
Station calling in, wrong frequency.
Alright.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, proceed direct Raro.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, direct Raro. Here you go, direct to Raro, and LNAV available, LNAV. And maybe we can go onto here as well. Descend, descend now. Execute. Here we go, tiny bit high on profile. That is perfectly fine. Okay, descent checklist. Recall. Checked. Auto brakes to landing data. Vero 3146. Minimums Barrow 265. Approach briefing complete. Descent checklist complete. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, any speed restriction?
Cleared Norgo to Whiskey Reise. The 5 Mike Tango on request of approach, recleared for Norgo to Whiskey Reise route.
Yeah, the Norgo to Whiskey.
Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet, recleared Norgo to Whiskey Reise.
Norgo to Whiskey Reise, Lufthansa 5 Charlie.
Beautiful.
Radar Moin, Leipziger 6261 descending.
Honestly, comparing all those different 787s, the Dash 9 is by far my favorite. I believe the proportions of this aircraft are just perfectly in place. The 10 is just a bit too long, the 8 is a bit too short, but the 9, in my opinion, is just perfect. Really just about perfect.
The 5 Charlie Juliet, speed 230 knots, or left 230 knots, Lufthansa 5 Charlie Juliet. Let's make it 230.
Okay, they're slowing down all the guys over here to 230 knots already. Then I'm not going to ask about the speed even. I'll just leave things as they are, continue at my 280. Why did it go 281 by the way? 280 I said. That's probably the much easier way to go for us than if we ask now and then end up getting a speed restriction slowing us down.
Left there 6261, speed 270 knots, no left.
Speed 270 knots or left, left again 6261.
Alright, so seatbelts, let's turn them on, give the cabin crew a little bit extra time here.
So 5 Mike Tango, contact Bremen radar, 119, that's with 5.
So, a little shortcut somewhere down over here would be nice now, but I suppose there is no reason even asking about it. They'll probably have far too much traffic for that.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, confirm your minimum clean speed.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, negative, we have 280 assigned.
Okay, Roger, reduce to minimum clean speed and report your minimum clean speed.
Yeah, we don't even have an indication for that above level 200, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. We can do it below level 200.
You're perfect, just report.
We'll go. So the Boeing isn't going to give you any of the characteristic speeds or of the maneuvering speeds, as they are called in the Boeing, above level 200, because you're not allowed to extend the flaps at this altitude. So for that reason, we just have to continue below level 200 before we even get an indication of what our minimum clean actually is. So once we're below level 200, then we can do it, and then we can look into it. But interesting that he's asking. I did report the speed to him when I called him on the initial call. But well, suppose we're just gonna do it that way. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, do you need us to reach Raro at level 110?
So 4 Yankee Juliet, affirm level 110 at Raro, please.
Roger, in that case we might be unable to give you the speed for Yankee Juliet, but we'll see what we can do.
You're perfect, then give me your highest rate at Raro 110 and then reduce to minimum clean and report to minimum clean speed.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Roger, highest rate to level 110 and then we reduce minimum clean. That's gonna be something like 225.
You Roger, thank you.
Okay, if he wants that, then we can give it to him. Let's have a little bit of party. Maximum rate? We can absolutely do that. Let's see what that looks like. 12 degrees pitch down, 9,000 feet a minute. Wow. Look at that! Look at that, man. Alright, alt capture. 100 feet above. Sorry, 6,000 feet above. Alright, now in the alt capture we gotta be careful with the speed, because it now doesn't care about the speed anymore, so we'll keep the speed breaker out. But the rate should be reducing now anyway. Tell you what, let's just take the autopilot out for a second and reduce that rate of descent. So, just quickly doing the reset over here. LNAV, vertical speed minus 1,000. Don't forget to fly the level off.
Bremen, hallo, Lufthansa 917, flight level 100.
Okay, reduce speed now, 225 we set. And autopilot.
Flight level 210, Lufthansa 917.
Okay. Well, if that is what ATC wanted, that is what ATC got. So the trick with descent like that is that you initiate it slowly and that you stop it slowly. You could see how quickly the airplane was descending towards the target level. That's why I eventually decided to disconnect the autopilot there and return the airplane to a lesser rate of descent. The problem with those Boeing autopilots is, once they are in altitude capture mode, you can no longer go back to vertical speed or anything the likes. So this was how we had to do it, really. Now, when you fly a descent like that, there is a common misconception among flight simmers that passengers would be scared or anything by the rate of descent. That is not the case at all. Passengers don't know and don't notice the rate of descent. What they do notice is your pitch attitude. 10 degrees nose down, I've done that on the 737 and nobody noticed. 15 like we just had, I've never done that, but I think it would probably feel a little strange to some of them, but they wouldn't be able to put that feeling into a context. Obviously when looking outside they would notice a steep descent, but they wouldn't really notice that you're going at 9,000 feet a minute or something. So that is a common misconception among flight simmers that, you know, that passengers would get scared because of a rate of descent or something. Unfortunately, some ACARS programs and some third-party flight analysis programs in flight simulation do actually complain about rate of descent, but that is totally unjustified. Doesn't happen in real life. Just doesn't happen like that. Alright, so we are about we're about down at 110, as they wished us to do.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, contact Bremen radar 119 decimal 510, tschüss.
119 decimal 510, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, tschüss. Okay, 1951.
1146. Walker 3465, turn right heading 330, contact Hamburg director 118205.
Turn right heading 330, contact director 118205, walking 465.
Bremen-Radar, hallo, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, Flight Level 110, inbound Rarup, speed 226, information Lima.
Lufthansa 1146, contact Hamburg director 118205.
No, that is not us.
118205 for Lufthansa 1146. Lufthansa 5 Flight Tango, descent altitude 4000 feet, QNH 09998.
So, is he eventually going to answer us?
Lufthansa 4 2806, contact Hamburg, Bremen radar 123 123 9925, Lufthansa 2806. 2J2 Echo Mike, turn left heading 270. Easy 02 Yankee Zulu, contact Bremen radar 123 9925. 123
Bremen, hallo, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, Level 110, inbound Rarup, speed 226, information Lima.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Bremen radar identified, descent flight level 70 on present heading.
Present heading, descent flight level 70, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Lufthansa
Okay,
2 Kilo
set.
Mike, Bremen radar.
70 checked, idle, heading hold, flight level change, speed.
Descent altitude 4000 feet.
And let's change that to heading select. Here we go. So, seems a little bit busy over here. Just a little bit though.
So first of all, Leipzig 6261 Bremen radar identified, proceed heading 330 and descent flight level 70. Heading 330 down, flight level 70, Leipzig 62.
Okay, what else can we do?
Lufthansa 2 Delta Mike Bremen
Region
radar
100,
identified,
lights coming on, signs are on, recall, just the known problem over there, and that is about it.
Last station calling.
Alright, I'll just leave the routing in for now. I have a feeling we're eventually going to be cleared back towards any of those waypoints. So we'll have to see what they are going to do with us. In the meantime, what we can do while we are waiting over here is we can start preparing the return flight already. So we'll just about have to figure out a call sign for that, but it is eventually going to be something like Lufthansa 6 or so, I believe.
Brakes, Lufthansa 5 November Charlie, turn right heading 330.
That's incredible.
And contact Hamburg director.
Interrupting the readback with a brake because giving a handoff. Oh god. That's not how you do it. But well, ain't gonna complain for as long as ain't gonna complain for as long as we are getting our vectors into the direction we want to go.
Leipzig 6261. Proceed heading 300 for spacing. Heading 300.
So they do seem to have a little bit of problem with the separation over here, but that's just that's just an observation.
Turn left heading
Alright, we are just going to see about how that's going to go. We did take half an hour of extra fuel, so let's see how long that's going to take. And ultimately, we might be able to enjoy a lovely sunset over here while we are waiting for our final vectors. The only thing we're going to take care of is that they don't vector us, you know, into nowhere. Just going to make carefully sure that we actually stay somewhere close to the airport, because that is how I saw things go southbound on VATSIM already for quite a couple of times. But we'll see. We're just not gonna do any. Right. Beautiful airplane. Beautiful sunset. Really beautiful, isn't it?
Okay, then.
That sim is looking really, really good, isn't it?
Echo Mike, turn left heading 230.
I really enjoy it.
Lufthansa 2 Kilo Max Bremen Radar.
And Super Grumpy, hi, are you not confused if you fly in flights in Boeings and in real life Airbus? Nah, not at all. It's not that bad. And Cream Cheese, evening, does it have CPDLC yet? I don't think so. And Lucas, no, my airline does not have 787s. And Obama, it's still a preview, but I don't think it is too far from release. There's a few things they need to sort out at the moment, like for example the takeoff rotation. So it does seem like the plane is a little bit...
Ja, auch das ist kein Factor for you. Heading now für KLM 33 November 330.
What?
Ja, alles klar, danke dir.
Yo, danke. He probably tried to coordinate on TeamSpeak or something and then accidentally set that stuff on the frequency. Certainly that shouldn't happen.
Mike, stand by.
Alright, so, yeah, I wonder where that heading is taking us. Might want to ask him. Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, how long in this heading?
So, last station. First of all,
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, just making sure we don't get lost on the heading over here.
Lufthansa 4 Juliet, 4 Yankee Juliet, left heading 270.
Left 270, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
That's
kind of what I suspected. We were flying outside his airspace slowly, and before we get lost completely, we might better just ask him for a second, because as you can see now he's vectoring us back towards the approach area. That is somewhat what I expected to happen over here. Alright, that might become a little bit bumpy. Temperature is plus 11, so we don't need anti-ice. Seatbelts are on anyway already. I'm keeping the FMS routing as it is at the moment, because, well, we might still get sent direct to any of those Delta Hotel points over here. And we just have to see what they're going to do with us, and we'll just have to see eventually what's going to happen with the approach. But it is pretty busy at the moment. If you just have a look on VATSPY, you can really see the amount of traffic they have today, and that is a lot and lot. Now, that is actually quite cool. Ever since COVID, the traffic numbers on VATSIM went up so incredibly much. But yeah.
In about 1 minute, stand by, calling for
Philip Brehm, as an Airbus pilot, have you flown the Phoenix, and do you think it is really close to a real Airbus concerning the realism? Well, the systems are very good on the Phoenix, however the flight dynamics in my opinion are not. It's somewhat of a mixed solution. Certainly the very best Airbus we have available in the sim at the moment. And in terms of systems, it's really good. But, yeah, the flight dynamics could be better. Let's put it that way.
Lufthansa 2 Kilo Mike, contact Hamburg Director 118205.
Alright, look at that. The guy flying out there like 40 miles or something. That's quite a bit. So let's just quickly determine how much fuel we actually have available for the delays. So minimum is 4.8 for a diversion to Hannover. We have 7.6 right now. So that means we've got like 1.8 tons to burn. Fuel usage is about 3 tons. That means we have approximately half an hour. So basically exactly what we planned back on the ground. However, that is minimum diversion fuel. And if we divert exactly at 4.8, then we're going to land, well, pretty much with exactly final reserve. But I kind of like the heading on which we are proceeding over here. Probably gonna go like this somehow. Und du transmittest auf der Frequenz.
Lufthansa 4 Juliet, turn left heading 200.
Lufthansa 4 Juliet, that's not us.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, turn left heading 100.
Left 100, confirm. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Left 200.
Left 200, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Juliet 2 Echo Mike, turn right heading 180.
Alright, so we are going to fly a lovely S transition in.
We are already heading 180, descending 5,000 feet. QNH 908, which is automatic.
Juliet 2 Echo Mike, right heading 335.
335, Juliet 2 Echo Mike.
Navigator 6261, still on the heading 300, confirm Navigator 6261. Navigator 6261, contact 134.255.
And Barry, I should share my opinions on the Latin VFR planes. Well, tell you honestly, for what they are, they seem to be okay. I'll have a video on the Latin VFR A330 in a couple of days, so I will share my opinions on that one, but just don't expect... You know, if you've got the right expectations, they are fine. Just like Captainson, by the way. I know that I'm going to get kicked for that.
060 and then repeat number.
But yeah, we'll see. I'll have a video on that in a few moments. A little bit busier trying to follow on ATC at the moment, but we'll get there. And yeah, guys, I never said that the Latin VFR Airbus was good in terms of an actual Airbus, just for what it's meant to be. And Elias, what do I think of the FS Labs Airbus? I flew them back in the day in P3D, and I didn't like the textures in the cockpit, but I made some new ones for it, which were quite okay, and the systems in the FS Labs and the flight dynamics were really good. I really liked them.
Lufthansa 5 Lima X-Ray Green Mellow.
And Simply says, am I excited about the PMDG EFB coming soon? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have the beta, so I just can't share it yet. And Jehu, what is the add-on with the better flight dynamics? Well, for example, the PMDG 737 has quite a good flight dynamics. The Leonardo MD-80 is quite okay. But the thing is, there are no perfect flight dynamics or so in the sim. However, some can be done better and some can be done worse, you know. If you've got an airplane that has a fly-by-wire, then you can really influence the way how the airplane handles. You cannot do that when you have, for example, an aircraft that has conventional flight controls, like a 737. That one is always going to abide the physics of the simulator. But with a fly-by-wire, there's a little bit more stuff you can do. And you will see that in the PMDG 777. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet speed 250 knots. That's interesting. Why would he make me increase speed? I mean, there's an airplane going like there, so just turn me in a bit earlier, rather than increasing speed. Because that is eating through the fuel rather quickly. I've very rarely seen ATC do that in real life, but let's see about it.
Last station, take call sign again.
And Dutch Captain, what do I think of V1 simulations? Well, I think he's a little bit childish at once, you know, when he constantly in all his live streams says something like, ah, not an A330, you know, he constantly tries to mock me somehow. But I just find that a bit childish. Apart from that, he's doing a great job with his content, so the stuff he's doing on his channel is really good, and he is a really good explainer, so that stuff he's doing very good.
Lufthansa 226, Bremen.
Then, Valexio, how is the 787-9 compared to the Asobo-10 or the Kuro 787-8? So, the Kuro is...
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, turn... disregard call back, decent altitude 5000 feet. Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, decent altitude 5000 feet, QNH 998.
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, descent 5000, QNH 998, continue present heading. Alright, set 5000 checked, level change, set QNH 998.
First, Lufthansa 171, turn left heading 320, speed 220 knots. First, left turn 320.
998, cross check passing 6300 now. Checked. So, he's better going to give us the right turn any moment now, otherwise we are hopelessly going to overshoot.
2424, Bremen radar contact, turn right heading 070, descent flight level 70.
Right 070, descent
1000 to go.
with 0244.
Lufthansa 226, Bremen.
And AVM, have I tried the Tollus A320? Yes, I did, and I really like its flight dynamics. Yeah, quite a bit better than the Phoenix, to be honest. But X-Plane is a different story. In X-Plane you can do a lot of things a lot
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet,
nicer.
turn right heading 335.
Right heading 335, Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet.
Lufthansa 226, turn right heading 060.
Oh man, turning the heading bug that far is a pain in this simulator.
5 Mike Tango, turn right heading.
I'm turning my mouse wheel
150.
completely for a full stroll and it gives me 4 degrees of heading. Like, that is annoying. And there is no proper click spot here to turn it like a little bit quicker.
And Lufthansa 226, speed 220 knots.
Alright, so we're getting into the downwind now. 10 knots behind the next guy, so probably that guy over there is going to be first in front of us. He's turning final now, that's quite early. But I'll just keep things as they are for now, and then we'll see how we're going to proceed. In the meantime, approach checklist, altimeters 998. Approach checklist complete. Okay, then Adrian, will the 787-9 be available for the cross the pond? That's a very good question. I honestly can't answer it.
Lufthansa 226, turn left heading 320.
I honestly cannot answer that question, but I do surely hope so. They've got a little bit of stuff to do here, like the rotations at the moment are something they still need to work on. Apart from that, it does seem to fly quite fine. So let's quickly pre-select that frequency, 118205. Yeah, apart from that, it does seem to fly quite fine, so I am rather confident.
Yankee Juliet, director 118.205, call sign only.
118.205 for the full story of my life. Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet.
Lufthansa 171, turn left heading.
Final approach, November.
Director Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet Heavy.
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, Director Luft. 4 Yankee Juliet, speed 200.
Speed 200 for Yankee Juliet. Alright, flaps 1, speed checked.
To the Draco Mike, speed 170 or greater until 5 miles final.
And flaps 5. Speed checked, flaps 5. So with an event as busy as this, let's give him the 200 knots exactly. And let's not mess around with that.
Lufthansa for Yankee, turn left heading 240.
Michael, will I have a video on the TFDI MD-11? I don't know yet. I didn't buy the pre-release.
Left heading 240.
Left 240, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. I didn't buy their collector's edition because I don't like to buy betas. So we'll have to see. I don't think they're going to give me a copy, to be honest. They weren't quite amused by my last video on their aircraft, so I don't think I'm going to get a copy, but we'll see about it. Certainly I'm not going to demand one.
So for Yankee Juliet for the left heading 180, cleared ILS runway 15, descent 3000.
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, left heading 180, cleared ILS 15, descent 3000. Okay, heading 180, 3000, flight level change.
This is a 320,
What is it?
speed, tower 126.
Why is it increasing thrust? Hello? Auto thrust off,
Final
please.
approach speed, tower 126.855, Lufthansa 320, sir.
That was interesting. Why did it increase thrust?
Reduce speed 170 knots.
170 knots, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet. Flaps 10. Alright, well that was interesting. Why did it try to... Well, it looked to me like it was trying to initiate a climb rather than a descent. Let's put that auto thrust back on. Hello, you are supposed to descend, my friend. That's looking better. What phase is it in? It's still in descent phase.
Direct default to intercept.
Alright, default Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, cleared ILS 15. He messed up the final vector. So he's just sending us direct to the FAF now. Okay, that looks good though. Intercept heading looks alright now. Clear for the approach mode armed. Alright, so one guy should be almost in front of us somewhere. I can't really spot him. There is one guy on the final. Well, probably in the cloud, the other. That's ahead of us.
So for Yankee Juliet, use final approach speed.
Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet, final approach speed 155.
So the 150 speed for
Alright.
60 knots until
So,
4 miles final.
Gear down, flaps 20. And flaps 30. You might have noticed that we got a little bit too close to the preceding guy. Okay then. Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. Okay, come on. A little bit too late now to catch that descent. We'll just let it level off and... here we go. Speed alt. That looks good enough to me.
Conflict November Tower 126855.
126.855. Schönen Abend noch. November.
Oh man. It always hurts. It really hurts me to fly level with the gears extended. It really hurts me. But I suppose we can't do anything about it now. If he wants us on final approach speed, he gets us on final approach speed. I mean, if you look at where the preceding aircraft is, then you can easily see why we're doing it. That guy is like 3 miles ahead of us now, and he might even slow down a bit, so... yeah, we are definitely going to end up... we're definitely going to end up very close behind him, so we must hope that he is going to vacate the runway early. Otherwise, things are going to turn southbound rather quickly, and we might end up flying a go-around indeed from this one. An NM Flyer Robin, 787 or A350? A350 all the way. Pilot comfort all the way, I should say. And Canali, send ATC a fuel bill. I might think about it. I might think about it. And G-Cook Scotland, will I test the LATAM VFR A330-900 soon? I will. Okay, Glasgow capture. 4,000 feet set. Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet Heavy established. Handoff? Maybe? Okay, while we're on the final, let's prepare the Navigraph charts.
126855.
126855, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet.
That's your 6261, right heading 120, clear ILS 15.
126.855.
Right 120, clear ILS 15, that's 6261.
Hamburg Tower, Lufthansa for Yankee Juliet Heavy ILS 15.
Before Yankee Juliet.
Okay, so we're going to vacate either here. Well, I don't think we can make Alpha 6, so we are going to go somewhere down here, Bravo 4 most likely. And then we'll have to go via Zulu 1 and probably parking up here, because to my knowledge that is the only parkings where we could place our 787. But we'll see about it. For now, let's worry about getting our airplane down onto the ground at all, and then we're going to worry about where we're going to park second. So pre-seating is getting very close there. 2.5 is minimum. He's at like 2.8 or something now. But we can't slow down any further. This is all we can do. Okay, land 3 rollout flare armed. And I tell you what, I'm just going to turn on the taxi light already, which would normally be our reminder for the landing clearance, because I do want to do a little bit of hand flying here. So, autopilot off. Let's see how the thing flies. Okay, going stable through 1000. And the pitch is really stable, I like that. I haven't touched the elevators at all yet. It is in trim, on speed. Checklist incomplete normal. I doubt it, we did the checklist. Oh, it disarmed the speed brake, why did it do that? Alright, that's better. Okay, slightly low on profile. Most important thing when you're landing a heavy aircraft is that you don't chase the glide slope below 200 feet. Just fly it down onto that runway and don't try to chase it. There is so much energy involved in the inertia of the plane. If your rate of descent becomes too fast, you are going to impact the runway. 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, expect late clearance. That means we can continue to the threshold. But I think we are going to go around. Yep. Go around. Too late, we're on the go. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, going around. Why is it an idle thrust? Let's not do an Emirates. Okay, positive climb. Gear up. Flat 20. Stand by, we're flying an airplane. You ever heard of Aviate, Navigate, Communicate? Alright, so that was very bad ATC. Alright, so too bad that we can't hit that toga button down there. But now we got it, okay. I'll tell you what. LNAV, VNAV, autopilot. Okay, that is better. I have a feeling we are not in go-around mode though, so let's do that stuff ourselves. Buck up. Okay, 1000 to go. Flaps 5. Flaps 1. Flaps up. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet ready, copy. As published, 119.510, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, see you later.
Air France 460, 1500 feet. Lufthansa 226, contact Hamburg Director 118.205, call sign only.
Director 118.205, Lufthansa 226.
I'm Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, missed approach, maintaining 4000.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Bremen Radar, hello, turn left heading 040, climb altitude 5,000 feet.
Left 040, climb 5,000 feet, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, 040 and climbing 5,000. That's wasting fuel as hell now.
Air France 460 with you, 4,000 feet.
So let's see, how much do we have? We've got 6.2,
contact,
and we are burning, we said, about 3 tons. Committing to landing here in Hamburg is not an option if you ask me. So we might just about have to consider a diversion. Let's ask him how much delay we can expect. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, how many track miles can we expect for the new approach?
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, I will turn you now into base, fly heading left heading 330, and then you can expect intercept at about 15 miles.
Very good. Left heading 330, expect intercept at 15 miles. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Vielen Dank. Okay, after takeoff checklist. That's interesting, it didn't sequence, but here we go. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete.
Air France 460, can you please repeat again which frequency to follow?
Okay, so another ILS approach for runway 15. Let's just reinsert that. Here we go. Why is it taking that out again?
Copy.
Hello? That's better. Okay, so let's just extend the center line then.
Last station calling
it's
in.
It's gonna be 150 inbound. Here we go. Why is it? Oh god, why is it deleting that constantly?
Thank you, 134255, Air France 460.
Okay, well we'll wait until we're a little bit further downwind and then we're going to reinsert the arrival. With the estimate that ATC has given us, I do believe we can continue for the second approach without actually needing to divert immediately, but we'll keep an eye on the fuel. We certainly keep an eye on it.
Right 335 with the 244.
But yeah, just a small thing there. When we went around and ATC was asking us several times to follow his instructions, like at 200 feet in the missed approach, while we were dropping our speed below the VREF, you know, ATC knows, or should know, not to do any radios at that point. And when he doesn't get an answer from an aircraft at low altitude in a go-around, that should be a clear indication for ATC to shut up. Just saying that a little bit harsher here, but him saying it 3 times, you know, it was... And then even at first when I told him, like, yeah, sorry, we were busy flying, he said, like, yeah, but listen to ATC, you know? That is just throwing out any priorities. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, speed 220. Alright, 225 will do as well. I don't want the drag of the flaps. So yeah, I do agree, I was a little bit harsh on ATC in the end, but he really forced it. I mean, what else should I have said? I was busy flying the plane at that moment, and that always has priority. So let's try to reinsert that route. CI 15 and 150. Why is it always taking that route out? We're like 7 miles from the center line, it shouldn't sequence anything there.
5 Yankee Juliet, contact Hamburg direct, 118.205, call sign only.
118.205, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Lufthansa 5.
Direktor, hallo nochmal, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy.
Yankee Juliet, Direktor.
Alright, 2 approaches for the price of 1. We gotta see the positive, huh? And we're going to get a very nice sunset landing. Alright, in the meantime, I have a feeling we need to fly until we're a beam Devot so that we can actually extend the center line here. Or we might just do things the easy way. Just do that. And that. That's gonna work as well. Not the most elegant solution, but one that works. Alright, cool. So, for the second approach we're going to do everything the same as we did on the first, except that we're not going to do a go-around this time. And if we do, we got to head off to the missed approach to our alternate airport straight away. I'm not going to fly a third approach over here in case we have to go around again. If that happens, we'll be in Hanover. Okay, so then we can do our descent checklist. So reset that, please. Recall checked, auto brakes 2, landing data 03145, minutes per hour 265, approach beacon completed, descent checklist complete, and approach checklist as well. Altimeters 908, approach checklist complete.
Lufthansa 9 Lima, you are overshooting, right heading 180.
Alright, so that should be about fine.
Overshooting recover at Lufthansa 9 Lima, right heading 180.
And heading 180 and cleared for the ILS 15, 9 Lima.
Nice. So that guy was forgotten in the downwind, overshot, and ATC apparently forgot that he didn't give him clearance for the approach.
170 until 5 miles final, cleared ILS, runway 15.
So we'll be following that guy over there.
Again with 2424.
Fuel is 5.8 now.
170 until 5.
We said our divergent fuel is 5 tons, I believe. Yeah, 4.8 make that 5. So that's sufficient fuel to shoot the approach, but not much more. So in case we do go around, we're going to go straight to Hanover.
Director, hello, speed 200. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, and left heading 230.
Left heading 230, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. And here we go, second time going in.
Lufthansa 226, tower 126855.
126855, Lufthansa 226, bye-bye.
Lufthansa 9 Lima, speed 170 knots or greater until 5 miles final.
170 or greater until 5, Lufthansa 9 Lima.
And Sir Faxalong, what is better, Kuro or Horizon 787? Well, they're pretty similar, but I believe the Kuro guys are actually on the team of the Horizon guys as well. So basically, both are going to work.
For Yankee Juliet, turn left heading 180, clear ILS runway 15, descend 3000, speed 200.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, left 180, descend altitude 3000, speed 200, cleared ILS approach, runway 15. Okay, so that, flaps 1, that, and that part here as well. Level change, flaps 5,
6952, turn right heading
speed 200. Looking good. Alright, let's try another extended center line, see how that's gonna work this time. 150, here we go. Execute. Well, that is better than nothing. Let's call it that way. Okay, so couple of questions there in the chat in terms of are there any rules on how many approaches you can fly and stuff like that. So the rules are basically that if the go-around is related to external circumstances, then we need then we can fly a maximum of 2 go-around, or rather a maximum of 2 approaches. After that we need to divert. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, reducing final approach speed, minimum fuel.
4 Yankee Juliet, roger.
Alright, I just gave him that already.
Hamburg director, hearing for 1
That's 15.
Lufthansa 5, Hotel Victor, and left heading 240.
Left heading 240.
Boeing 6952, reduce final approach speed, right heading 180.
So that minimum fuel call was a little bit early. Normally you would only do that before you run into... normally you would only do that before you actually run into the final reserve fuel, not before you run into the alternate fuel. However, we have a rule that if we fall below 45 minutes of usable fuel, which we are going into now, then yeah, then we eventually have to do minimum fuel as well. At least if there are threats at the destination, and I see the traffic as a threat over here, because they seem to have problems handling that. Yeah, come on, don't worry about that landing gear, it's on the way. Alright, approach is armed.
5 Hotel Victor, left 180, clear ILS 15.
So that is getting quite close again, because our final approach speed is rather high at 150. If that is an Airbus ahead of us, he might very well just be flying 130 knots. And 20 knots difference at this distance might cause a go-around, we'll see. So, localizer capture, runway heading set. Start speed brake armed now. Here we go. Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete.
Going 6952, cancel approach clearance, right heading 200.
Cancel approach clearance and right heading 200, during 6952.
And Pasha and Verma, if ATC asks to maintain a certain speed, what is the plus or minus that we can maintain? Well, technically speaking, it's plus 10 minus 5, because that is the speed tolerance that we are allowed to have on the approach. However, normally, if I have an auto thrust available that can fly precisely, I would go plus minus 5 knots around the speed that ATC advises. Normally, for example, you know, if he told us to fly 160, I would not have extended the landing gear for that, you know. I would have stayed in flap 20 in idle thrust, blast up capture, just because that would have given us the better opportunity to it would have given us the better opportunity to save a little bit fuel. 126855 Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
Direct Yoke Starter, Fox Charlie.
Hamburg Tower, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet Heavy, schönen guten Abend nochmal.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Hamburg Tower number 3.
Jo, that is expected.
Lufthansa 887, wind 120 degrees, 5 knots, runway 26, it's okay, takeoff, no delay.
Okay, so let's see how things are going to go this time. We're final approach speed, so tell you what, let's disconnect the autopilot. Right, manual flight. Let's go ahead and enjoy that 787 a little bit, because I do really enjoy hand flying this one. It's very stable in the air. That C*U flight control law is actually keeping us very nicely on our path for as long as we stay on constant speed, which auto throttle is taking care of. So for that reason, with the auto throttle engaged, the 787 flies almost like an Airbus, as long as you trim it into speed. But if it is trimmed on speed, it flies quite similar to an Airbus. Not perfectly, of course. And any Boeing pilot is probably going to slap you for it. But I do really think so. Like right now, my hands are completely off the control column. You can see it just keeps going.
705 holding short, Zulu 3, left again 261 finally.
So, the preceding traffic is on the ground. This time we should certainly not have any problems. But let's see about it. Never say never, not in flight simulation. I do see some flashing lights on the left of the runway there, just on the edge. I do hope that is not an aircraft about to line up, because that might not necessarily work out the way it should.
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, expect late clearance.
4 Yankee Juliet, roger. Okay, expect late clearance.
4 Yankee Juliet, receiving traffic about to vacate. Wind 120 degrees, 5 knots, runway 15, clear to land, vacate by Echo 4.
Lufthansa, 4 Yankee Juliet, runway 15, clear land, and Echo 4 is to the left or to the right, and about where?
The first on the left, the first high speed on the left.
Probably unable to make that since we're heavy, but we'll try our best.
Then Alpha
Continue.
takes the next one on the highway, the high speed at the intersection. Lufthansa 5 Mike Tango, cross runway 23 on the other side, hold short of Zulu 3 on the other side, 121 is in the
Ooh,
705.
flare. Man, that was just about last second. Okay. So, am I going to get reverses? Here we go. Reverse normal. 100 knots.
Hello, number 2.
Okay. 60 knots, we can make this one. Manual brakes.
Contact
Reverses off.
Apron 121 980. Bye bye.
12190 for the apron with the 14 you.
Why am I even vacating into this? There are 3 aircraft waiting in front. Would have been so much nicer just to go to the intersection. Because this looks like there is quite some delay coming up there. Alright, in any case, we made it down.
Monarch 601, wind 120 degrees.
I tell you honestly, with these many aircraft, I should have just continued to the crossing and then just taken the exit over there. So a couple comments over here in terms of the landing itself. I was made aware prior to the landing from the... I was made aware from the team prior to the flight that the landing model itself might be a little bit messed up. And I do actually have to sign on that. It felt like the moment we touched down, there was just no inertia in the plane anymore, you know? It just felt like we were simply bouncing down on that runway. And then the nose came down like, I don't know. It didn't feel like there was any weight to the airplane. But that is something that they said they are aware of and actually working on in terms of the flight model. Alright, so in the meantime, let's quickly clean up the plane.
Player 65, kilo standby.
Alright, we don't have an after landing checklist in this one, so I do suppose we are going to give it here.
Kilo, cross runway 23 on the other side, Hamburg apron 121, station 705, no delay.
Alright, so
on the other side, contact 121 705 via 6 kilo.
why does he give the clearance like that? Like, on the other side contact ground and then no delay, like... If you want no delay, then contact ground now, you know? But yeah, I suppose that's just welcome to VATSIM. And AVM, you keep asking that question. I have answered it a few times already. Yes, I did try the TOLIS. I've got several videos on it. Just have a look at those.
119 is in the 510.
The Bremen 119
And Wasserleitungs-Klaus, hi there. Hi Emmanuel, here the slow A320 from en route, just for the sake of clarity. Nearly the same wind, 60 knots tail. A320, ATC instructed us to reduce to minimum, which was about Mach 0.66. Well, that is, yeah, ATC would never do that in real life, never. And Maximus, when does this release to the public? I don't know, but hopefully not too far out. It feels there are a few things in the flight model that they need to work on, but apart from that, it is alright. So, next one coming. Guy stuck over there. UPS over there, so everybody is stuck basically right now. Okay, this is a problem. All the heavy gates are occupied in front over there. All the heavies are occupied. So they probably got to put us on the cargo apron there. But even that is full. So that's going to be interesting where they're going to park us. But I suppose that will be for ATC to figure out. We are just going to continue for now, and then see where they're gonna put us. We'll find out. We'll find out. And then hopefully eventually make our way back somehow. But yeah. And Jordi van Leuven, as someone who's just finished his MCC and APS course in the 737, I really enjoy seeing you deal with the traffic and difficult ATC, especially the little brief regarding the diversion. Yeah, Jordi, that is exactly the thing that we are going to do in a plane like that, you know? The most important thing is that we are always on top of things. You've just finished your MPS and APS course, so basically you know about multi-pilot flying now. Type rating is probably going to be next, then you know about flying the exact airplane. And after that comes your line training, and over there you're going to learn about the decision making and how to consider working in the actual environment, you know? And that is going to be probably probably the hardest part of your training, because that part is going to be all about not only putting what you learned in the type rating to practice, but actually learning to go for the decision-making process. Like you've seen, when we did the missed approach, we conducted the little review of the options and the fuel we have, because if we had to shoot another missed approach, then our fuel would be straight down to the minimum diversion fuel. And then we don't have the time anymore to make a decision like that. So the decision we made was really, okay, are we going to make our approach, or are we just going to go to the alternate straight away? As you can see, making the approach worked perfectly fine. But you know, things can go the other way as well. If we had to make another go around, then we would have been in quite a miserable situation, to be honest, because then it would be a direct diversion. And that is where VATSIM ATC becomes especially interesting. In real life, if you're going around and you're on minimum fuel, then ATC is going to give you a direct to the final approach fix for the other airport. On VATSIM, however, they typically are not that flexible. So on VATSIM, those things can go southbound very quickly, because they might try to vector you around with 100 miles extra again.
Swiss 1058, Hamburg Tower, hello, number 2.
Alright, so that's the park and brake off. By the way, another quick theory on taxiing heavy aircraft. You can see our airplane is rolling nicely on idle thrust. It is going very slowly, but we don't have a crossing clearance for the runway anyway. So for that reason, I can just let it roll over here in idle thrust without the need to insert any additional thrust. That becomes quite relevant when you consider brake energy, and that if I added thrust to taxi a bit faster now, then I would need to use my brakes to get rid of all that energy again to stop in front of the runway. Okay, that guy just got takeoff clearance. Let's turn the taxi light off just in order not to confuse him, that he knows that we will be stopping. Because I usually get rather nervous when I see somebody taxiing up to the runway.
30 reporting aircraft, line up 23, cleared up Alpha 5, and
With 1058, wind 120 degrees 5 knots, 115, clear to land, vacate Echo 4.
Alright, so now comes the interesting question about where they are going to park us. Let's get out the taxi chart already, because once we're sent to apron on the other side, we will be crossing over here, so we'll go over into Alpha 5.
Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, cross runway 23 on the other side, apron 121, listen to 705, bye-bye.
Cross runway 23, 121, 705, Lufthansa 4, Yankee Juliet, bye. Yeah, let's call apron straight away, though.
Zulu 4, Zulu 5, Zulu 3, and Alpha 3 for Condor 6 Condor. That's Condor 6 Condor, hold shot of Alpha 5. Hold shot Alpha 5, Condor 6.
Apron hello, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, crossing in Alpha 5.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, Hamburg apron hello.
Yo, hello.
Lufthansa 57, continue push back, facing north.
Okay, we can't vacate the runway with the UPS in front. Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet just advised Tower we cannot vacate the runway with the UPS in front of us.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, roger.
Our plane is too long. Even if we go all the way up here, we can't get off the runway.
Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, are you able to get behind the order line?
Negative, we've got 65 meters wingspan. That is interesting. I mean, we can't go much further. Like, I can get it up here, but that's not going to be completely clear of the runway. If you can get the UPS to move like 20 meters up front, then we can get clear Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet.
UPS 17, you listen? And Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, please hold short of Zulu 3 for now.
Holding short Zulu 3, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet. Okay, so Zulu 3 is the crossing taxiway, so we gotta stay on the runway here.
Lufthansa 354 ready for pushing start.
UPS 17, are you able to taxi into Alpha 3?
So look at that.
Say again, 354.
The aircraft that line up behind seems to be gone already, so... Did they make him depart while I was on the runway?
Hamburg apron.
And now everything is stuck over here. Just everything seems to be stuck.
Lufthansa 3 now, push back approved, facing north on Zulu 1 blue line.
And undefined, yeah, the UPS is blocked by the person on the runway, who is blocked by me. Yeah, I mean, the UPS needs to go into here, into that second taxiway, and I don't see why he cannot go in there. I mean, there's space over here, there's space over there. He needs to go into Alpha 3,
Hamburg apron.
but he doesn't answer on the radio. He's just standing there and doesn't answer.
354 ready for pushing start.
Lufthansa 354, yes, I know that. Stand by.
Roger.
So, UPS, where are you? He's not talking to ATC at all now, so he's just blocking everything now. And that A340 over there isn't in a good position either.
UPS 1 heavy.
Oh, now he's talking.
Taxi now left into Alpha 3.
Roger, turn left to Alpha 3, UPS 1 heavy.
But now we still can't get clear, like there's a guy on the right, there's a guy in front.
Number 6 Papa Hotel, follow UPS going 767 in front to holding point runway 23 Alpha.
So they've basically blocked everything now.
UPS in front to holding point 23 Alpha.
That was, well, I suppose that stuff does happen. And Klappspaten, I am using the, what's it called again? Don't let me lie to you. The AIG model matching.
UPS 17 over the tower 126 855.
And so Tobo, can Watson boot people off when they are not cooperating? Yes, they can, but not for not answering for like a minute or so, you know? That just happens. Okay, the convoy is clear, so technically we could go to the right now. And then taxi all around the apron.
Can you give us an estimate taxi? Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet, taxi to gate 07 via Zulu 3, Zulu 5 and Zulu 1.
Okay, Lufthansa 4 Yankee Juliet 07 via Zulu 3, Zulu 5, Zulu 1. Just confirm that gate is actually large enough for 65 meters wingspan.
UPS 4 Yankee Juliet should be able.
Roger. Yeah, it's not. Gate 7 is not big enough for a Boeing 787. But I don't care. I just don't care now. Let's see, what do they have there? 7 Alpha, that should work. So handling by Visak. At least we got an easy explanation for the delays then. Alright, so 7 down there they say. Yeah, I tell you what, we're just gonna give it a try, and that's it. So we go all the way around, Zulu 3, Zulu 5, Zulu 1, into gate number 7. So yeah, that was a little complicated getting here, but they eventually got us here. I mean, that shit just happens. I've been Watson controller myself for several years, so I can totally see how that can happen at times. I'm not even getting angry at him. He solved the problem.
Taxi to holding for runway 23 via Zulu 5, Zulu 1 orange line, Alpha 1, and holding short Zulu 1.
So for us it's now about getting back to the apron, and then we're going to get on to the next sector, flying back to Frankfurt. Alright. Is that number 7 over there? That might actually be big enough. But not with the other 787 on the other side there. That is blocking it out. Anyway, I don't care. All I want now is to get to a gate that I can actually park my airplane in. And if that means we park a little bit behind the 78 over here and block it all the way, then so be it. Yeah, that's 7 Bravo. Tell you what, we're gonna go into 7 Alpha, because that is the only one that I see us fit into right now. Are we? No. No, if we do 7 Alpha, we'll block the gate on our left. I mean, I tell you honestly, either way, this is blocked. There is just not enough space over here for all these aircraft. Too many people flying heavies at the moment, including myself. So, even if we clip the wings, I don't care anymore.
UPS 17, as I said to you 5 minutes ago, contact tower 126855.
Oh boy, that guy doesn't sound happy now about the UPS.
Lufthansa 8 Mike, continue taxi.
Alright, here we are.
Continue taxi, 8 Mike.
Yeah. Alright.
Lufthansa 8 Mike, sorry, my bad. Swing over to Zulu 1 blue line, and after that to Alpha 1.
Swing over Zulu.
Here we are! We made it!
8 Mike.
Alright, the parking brake is set. Engine 2 shut down. Let's see that we can get the ground power. Here it is. And engine 1 shut down. See? No need to use an APU. Okay then, very good. Shutdown checklist. Parking brake, set. Shutdown checklist complete. And that is sector number 1 completed. Let's go ahead and prepare sector number 2. And in the meantime, I'm just going to send the ground a little private message here telling him, hey, good job.
354 ready for taxi.
354, stand by, call you back.
Roger.
Alright, so that stuff is done, then let's go ahead and get in for the next flight. This one is going to be Lufthansa 4 November Echo on the return flight. Okay, I did a little bit of pre-flight work in the meantime, so... Ouch, that doesn't look good. And another heavy, a 777 over here. Lovely. Man. Okay, that's really nice. Alright then, cool. I tell you what, let's go ahead and grab that new flight plan. And the first thing we're going to do is to grab the IFR clearance, because I am 100% sure they are slotting these days. So let's import that new flight. Here we go. Hamburg to Frankfurt. View the OFP. And then let's call delivery straight away and grab our clearance. That's going to be 121805. So 121805, here we go. And let's go ahead and call for clearance. Hamburg delivery, hello, Lufthansa, 4 November, Echo information, November, request clearance to Frankfurt.
For November Echo, your cruise level has been amended to flight level 230.
For November Echo, roger, we can do that as well.
So for November Echo, clear Frankfurt, Ideco 7, Bravo, climb 5000, squawk 1000.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, cleared Frankfurt, flight level 230, Ideco 7 Bravo, climb 5000, squawk 1000, and we've got an EOBT at on the hour.
November Echo, roger.
Just in case you guys are slotting, which I'm 100% sure you are.
Indeed we are. Expect start at time 1700.
1700, vielen Dank, 4 November Echo. Alright, so our slot is secured. With that,
United 4 Bravo, request pushback and start.
I am just going to leave that frequency for a second here. Alright, so our clearance is received. That's the most important thing here, and our slot is secured. Now, in real life, if you're slotting, or rather in real life, they are slotting all the time. And what happens is they get the flight plan from ATC, and as soon as the flight plan is received, they put you in the clearance. However, things are going a little bit different on VATSIM because people file their flight plans without thinking about the estimated off-block times. And when that happens, they basically call for clearance, but only then ATC can put them in the queues for the slots. And that obviously always ends up in the same way, that you gotta wait by the time that you request your IFR clearance. Now, you can circumvent that by calling them early enough with the estimated off-block time. Obviously, if you miss that one, then you're going to get the latest slot that they possibly have available. So, when you call them, you gotta be sure that you're actually able to make your slot as well. But we should be perfectly able to do that today. So, I suppose if we just go ahead and start with our pre-flight preparations now, then we are going to be perfectly fine for a pushback in 25 minutes. Okay then. So, route request please. Isn't that nice? Okay. Anything happening with our route request? Here it is, route uplink, load. And that's it, Hamburg to Frankfurt, and we'll be Lufthansa 4 November Echo. Alright, departure, runway 23, Ideco 7 Golf we set. Oh, sorry, Ideco 7 Bravo they set. Alright, and we're gonna use that. Alright, and for the arrival in Frankfurt, I will plan the ILS runway. It's probably gonna be Yankee 23 right, so I'll just go with that straight away. It might as well become runway 25 left, but let's see about it and see what they have on offer for us today. Also, we quickly gotta decide on our fuel before we continue with the rest of those setups. So, looking into this, our alternate is Stuttgart, that is about fine. Let's have a very quick look into the weather to make sure that we have sufficient fuel with us. But Stuttgart is showing good, and Frankfurt, yeah, a couple of gusts down the runway, not gonna be a problem for us, so Frankfurt is good as well. However, I do expect the same kind of delays that we've just had over here. In other words, we're going to take half an hour of extra fuel once again. Once more, I don't see justification to take more than half an hour, because, you know, if you fly with so much fuel all the time, of course you could just load it up to the max landing weight. But think of it that way. If you do that, you might just about end up, you know, burning so much extra fuel that the flight becomes totally uneconomical. And overall it removes a little bit of the challenge as well, doesn't it? So the decision-making process, in my opinion, should be really part of all your, the decision-making part is really an important part over there, and it would be really pity to not include all of that. So, that said, we are going to go with half an hour extra, which is 2,000 kilos, and then we are going to fly lower as well. They said we are going to get flight level 230 final. That means 7,000 foot lower. So what I'm going to do, looking over here, flying 4,000 feet below, we take an extra 200 kilos of fuel. Then we're probably going to get speed restrictions and everything. So I tell you honestly, let's take another ton extra for the lower cruising level. So looking at this, we've got 9.9 for the 9.9 for the off block. Oh, sorry, for the takeoff fuel. 400 kilos taxi. Let's round that up to 500, making it 10.4. And then we're going to use additional 3 tons, so 13.4 tons of fuel for our flight today. I do think that sounds roundabout reasonable. Alright, so let's load this up. New values uploaded. Fuel 13,500. Again, 100 more, totally fine. 13.5 does sound good to me. Okay, cool. Then we can continue with our setup. So, alternate and reserve fuel combined is 4.7 down there. Then zero fuel weight, 160.9. Like what we have here, cruising level 230 as ATC amended. Doesn't mean that we can't ask for a higher level, but we will not insert it straight away. And probably gonna be a 5,000 feet transition altitude over there as well. Perfect. Fix, we can draw that around Hamburg at 25 miles, and that should be about it. Okay, very good. So that's the FMS setup done. Then let's do a quick cockpit setup here. But 787 is such an easy airplane. Fueling is finished, so that goes on. Logo light can go on as well. And that's about it already. As I mentioned, such an easy airplane here. What do we have there? Off. That's the cargo heaters. Okay, yeah. We don't have any cargo that needs heating today anyway. Okay, climb to 5,000 as ATC instructed. Departure runway is 23, so let's pre-select that course. Here we go. And for the speed, I'm going to turn that down to 100 for now, and then we'll set that when we do our takeoff calculations. Okay, that looks good. Clear out the minima. This is looking good. Squawk 1000 is what we have received already, so we're going to keep that. In other words, we are pretty much done with our pre-flight work over here. Okay, cool. So, let's see if we can reset the checklist somehow. Reset? Yeah, here we go. Reset all. Very nice. So, if we now go on to the normal checklists, it should start us straight in the pre-flight. Right. I'm gonna reset that, go out of it again, as we'll make use of that later again. Okay then, so that stuff is done. Then let's go ahead with the rest of our briefing. In the meantime, I see a couple comments in the chat down there. So Sully has been asking, can this plane do a full auto land? Yeah, it can. But I'm not sure if it is completely implemented in the simulation. But tell you what, when we're flying over to Frankfurt, let's go ahead and attempt an auto land over there. Unless anybody from the Horizon Simulations team now jumps in and tells me, no, we told you not to. In case that does happen, I need to apologize in advance, because I might not remember it straight away. But doesn't matter, we'll go ahead for that. So, Alexis, how long will the flight time be? We're looking at about 45 minutes, plus whatever kind of delays we might be thrown into. So, we'll see about that. So, one more thing I want to do over here, that is display brightness. Let's turn that all the way down. Yeah, that can go up, but for the display brightness I'll just put it down a little bit, because this is much too bright. In real life we would normally control those, you know, in real life you just tune it to a way that feels good and comfortable to your eyes. In the simulator that's a little bit more difficult, but something like that should be about fine. Okay, just where is the light switch for the lower display unit? Is that the one down here? No. Oh, where's that click spot gone? Hey, my click spot is gone. Here it is. Yeah, here it is again. Just a little bit hard to actually find that click spot. Seems like it is only on the top of the bottom there. But anyway, this is fine now. Okay, so apart from that, in the 777 it's over here. Doesn't look like it is on the 78, so we have that in here. No, where is that click spot to lower the brightness for the center display? R-stand panel float, that doesn't look like it. Neither does this. Okay, that actually doesn't look like there is anything over here. Well, otherwise we might just have to leave it that bright. It would be a little pity, but it's not gonna kill us, is it? Okay, in the meantime, copy FMC data. And we might just about have to do some recalculations for the takeoff data. So let's go in here and perf init, takeoff, page 2. And if we just click on here, really nice feature, it's just going to upload the current wind, making it somewhat easy to figure all of that out. So, we've got that, then let's go copy FMC data once again. Here we go. And I do believe we can stick with everything else. Calculate. Looks about fine to me. Alright, so, that's most of our setup done. Then let's go ahead with the departure briefing. Threats for the departure, well, it's going to be quite busy, so once again, listening out to the call sign, there's lots of Lufthansa flying over here. Ours is 4 November Echo, so we gotta remember that. Now, going on from there, our route check. Let's see what we got. It's going to be Hamburg to Frankfurt, and that's what we have in here as well. Hamburg to Frankfurt, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, and the routing is via Ideco 7 Bravo departure, eventually leading towards Ideco, even though that direct shouldn't be here, so it should be Ideco 7 Bravo and then Ideco to the top. But well, thereafter November 850 Pirot, Tango 152 Kerax, and out of Kerax we're going to have a standard arrival, which I apparently forgot to insert. See, that's the reason we do this stuff. Okay, Alice Yankee 25 right, let's just stick with that. And then Kerax 4 Alpha arrival. Delta Fox 426 transition, insert. Okay, one quick check again. Kerax, Gere, and from there Kerax 4 Alpha, yeah. Not perfect, so that should be a little bit more cleaned up like it is on the Boeing 737. Should work the same way. But the routing is basically what we want it to be. So ground distance 298 versus 299, perfect, 9.6 remaining, which should be plenty of fuel. Let's do a wind uplink though, to be entirely sure what we've got after the wind is uplinked. Okay, load that on. And then descent forecast, load, and finally climb forecast, load, here we go. Very good. Alright then, so that's this. Apart from that, I don't see any specials. So it's going to be left seat takeoff runway 23, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, and the speeds to be determined. Now, emergencies, exactly as briefed earlier, we can go straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000, and that is going to keep us safe. In terms of our taxi, it's going to be a pushback to the left-hand side onto the center line. Let's see where we got that. Parking chart, down here it is. So pushback onto the center line, and then straight at Zulu 1, and we can take either of those intersections over here. However, in case they put us onto Alpha 3, there cannot be an airplane on Alpha 4, and in case they put us on Alpha 4, there cannot be an airplane on Alpha 5 or Alpha 3. So in case they clear us towards Alpha 5, we've got to make carefully sure that they don't plan to cross any aircraft over here. Otherwise, we're going to end up in the very same situation that we had when we just taxied in. Alright, so straight ahead, most likely Alpha 1, I would say, with our aircraft, but we'll see about it. Our departure is the Ideco 7 Bravo departure, and we've got that on a chart 10-3 Delta from the 2nd June of 2023. Transition altitude 5,000 versus in the FMC 5,000 as well. Speed max 250 at or below level 100, not applicable in Airspace Charlie, but it is applicable by company minima, so we're going to keep that. Remain on tower frequency until passing 2000 and connect Bremen radar 134.255. Okay, for the routing then, it's going to be Ideco 7 Bravo departure, straight at to Delta Hotel 100, max 210 knots, and that is in here. Then we continue straight to Delta Hotel 116, left turn 163, and then southbound towards Ideco. And that's it. Any questions? No? Very good. Pre-flight checklist. Pre-flight checklist complete. Alright, 10 minutes to run till our slot. So let's start the APU and maybe we can push a little bit earlier. But let's see about it. In the meantime though, I am going to take a quick 1 minute break and then I'll be straight back with you. Just gotta do a visual inspection there of the galley to make sure that everyone is working how they're supposed to. Alright, in the meantime, IC Aviation, I just saw your donation over there, 249. Guten Abend, findest du den A330 besser als die 737? Basically means good evening. Which one do you like more, the A330 or the 737? Absolutely the A330. Alright, cool. So, 1 minute of a break and then I'll be straight back for our departure and for the next sector. Alright, I'm straight back, and Bella in the comments, no, the stream isn't frozen, I've simply taken a small break, like I said, before I left. So, we're back in the cockpit. Let's go ahead and call up GSX, so that they start preparing the aircraft for the pushback, and then we'll just about have to see what is gonna happen next. It's 53 now. Suppose we can call delivery and put in a ready message. Maybe they can move our slot forward a little bit. Otherwise, our TOBT is on the hour. It should work as well. But maybe best thing is to wait for GSX to connect their pushback target first. But I see they're working down there. That's probably all we can ask for, is it? Right, let's call up delivery. Tell them we're ready. And in the meantime, just make sure that my headset is actually working, because it sometimes turns itself off. But that looks alright to me now. Okay, cool. I suppose we're gonna give it a try. Hamburg delivery, Lufthansa 4 November Echo.
Echo Hamburg, ground, hello.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, we are fully ready already. Can we already get startup clearance?
November Echo doesn't look like you can, I'm sorry.
Roger, so confirm it stays on the hour?
November Echo, yeah, probably, but maybe a few more minutes.
Roger, that's not a problem. We are monitoring your frequency. Okay, so they're doing their best in order to get us a clearance. We might have to wait for about 5 more minutes until we actually get it. So in the meantime, let's go ahead with our performance. So, 0 fuel weight. Should be about 160.9, GSX not quite yet. Okay, 160.9, is that correct? Let's do a very quick check in the weight and balance tab. Yeah, 160.9 actually is correct. Very good. Okay, we don't have takeoff performance in here yet, so let's just go copy FMC data once again. So, Hamburg 23, no intersection, dry, wind, temperature, QNH is good, 0 fuel weight good, takeoff weight good, CG good. Alright, let's just calculate that once more. And here we go, send output. So, takeoff data, and we're gonna accept that. CG, looks good to me, 152.
During 6 Bravo Charlie, startup approved, contact apron 121.705.
Here we go. Okay, and the heading 228. So, small thing for you guys to notice over here. You will notice that the reference speeds calculated from the FMC and the speeds calculated from the EFB takeoff calculator may not always be the same. That is exactly the same in real life, and the EFB will always have priority over the FMC speeds. However, if there is a major difference in the speeds, then that is reason enough for you to cross-check all the data you've got in here. So make sure, for example, that the weight is correct, like 174.4, and then you look in here, okay, 174.4 is the same. Very good. So that would be a cross-check you do. You can see over here, the difference in V2 is just 1 knot. If that is the case, you might also use the FMC speed. If the difference is more than 1 knot, then the speeds from the OPT are always the master speeds. And that is the case here with the V1 and with the VR. So for that reason we are using the speeds from the performance calculator and not the speeds from the FMC. The reason why there are differences is mostly because the performance calculators in the airplane's FMC are a little bit more basic than what an EFB has available. The primary reason for that is that you've got a lot more Start approved 121.705 Lufthansa vorne beim Echo. Schönen Abend, tschüss. Alright, here we go. Then let's get clearance. Hamburg Apron, schönen guten Abend. Lufthansa vorne beim Echo. Heavy, request pushback, stand 7. Yes, no, maybe? Anyway, we've got startup clearance, so let's go ahead and configure the plane.
Lufthansa 32 Lima, request start.
Okay, Apron writes in the chat, all stations stand by. So probably he's just I don't know, maybe he is talking to another controller, coordinating with them.
Hamburg Apron, EC225, continue.
Okay, B4 start checklist. Passenger signs. On, MCP. V2 152, heading 228, altitude 5000. Takeoff speeds. V1 138, VR 143, V2 152. CDU pre-flight completed. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Before start checklist complete. Hamburg Apron, schönen guten Abend. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, stand 7, request pushback.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, Hamburg Apron, hello, standby traffic behind.
Okay, standby traffic behind. Fair enough, then we've got to wait a little bit. And Robin Hanke, how does the cockpit of the 737, how does the cockpit of the 330 smell compared to a 737? Well, the 73s I flew were a little bit newer, and you can certainly notice that. Okay, let's have a quick look where that aircraft behind us actually is. Oh, lovely Condor. You are not supposed to be here, my friend. You are certainly not supposed to be here. Korka Morka, I've heard that the rotation is better if you add another unit of trim. Maybe that's worth a try. Let's give it a try. So, that's gonna be 4.5 units then. Let's see how that is going to work out. Alright, so, should be ready for pushback in a moment, and then hopefully... It's on the hour now, that is the original EOBT we requested, but I figure it's just waiting for the guys over there, and once they are past, we are going to get our clearance. Not too many aircraft holding there at the moment, so we might encounter a little bit less delay now than we did earlier.
On ground, ET225, on stand 52, shutting down.
That is a call you do absolutely not need to make. You don't need to tell ATC when you're shutting down your engines. I mean, what else shall you do after you've arrived on a stand?
Aber ich habe mal die RK-7 weg.
So, let's see. I suppose we're waiting for that guy, but not 100% sure. And can someone get that Condor away from us, please? Okay, that guy has been cleared on Zulu 3, not that's clear of us. Let's see. I'll wait until that guy standing behind us is clear, then I'm going to ask him again. He might have forgotten us, but we'll see about it. We simply have to see about it.
Push. Silver 3 on a forward push from Stancy. Bravo, confirm your texting via Zulu 2.
One more guy coming here. Might want to ask him how long the delay is actually going to be, because I have a feeling that guy in the back there isn't really doing anything, so we might or might not have to wait for him. Lufthansa for November Echo, how long until the expected pushback time? Can't say that really. That doesn't sound good. I mean, that guy is gone, so why can't we just push? And that guy's clear now. That guy's gone now. So why can't we push? What are we waiting for?
Runner 40 Tango Bravo, continue straight ahead to Alpha.
Straight ahead, that's really right now.
Runner 40 Tango Bravo, up to tower 1.
I don't want to ask him again, but it seems like he has a plan.
Forward to tower, Ryanair 40 Tango Plus.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, pushback approved, facing north to the 17.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, pushback approved, facing north. Alright, so that's going to be with a nose to the left-hand side. So, parking brakes released.
Contact number tower 1268555.
And then we're going to delay the engine start until we are clear of the gate and don't expect any GSX disconnection delay, if you know what I mean with that. Alright, so moving. That was quite alright, I have to say. Ultimately 5 minutes delay past our original EOBT. That is absolutely acceptable for a busy event like this one is. Okay then. So we are getting clear of the gate area, just delaying that engine start a little bit longer. It's lots of heavy aircraft here, isn't it? Like the 777 on the left, the 767 on the right, then we saw that A380, we saw the two A340s. It's really nice to see that heavy aircraft are getting a little bit more attention in the simulator, and that not everything is either a 737 or an A320. As nice as those aircraft are, a little bit more diversity is actually something very, very nice. I do have hopes that with the upcoming MD-11 and with the 777 and everything like that, the fleets we see on the networks are going to diversify a little bit more. It is certainly about time again. Okay, starting engines. Certainly I do believe Flight Simulator 2024 is going to become quite exciting when we've got the 777, the 747, the MD-11 and the A300. With a bit of luck somebody is going to do an A330 as well. I do hope so. A high fidelity A330 I mean, not the low level stuff that we have already. Which is nice for what it is, but only for what it is.
Yeah, we are ready for taxi.
Okay. Parking brake is set. Sounds good. And the aeronautics fanboy, yeah, Aerosoft is making an A330, but to be totally honest, I'm not expecting too much of it. I'm just not expecting too much of it. Alright, we'll clear that tail strike thing away. Then, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudders, full left, full right, neutral, before taxi checklist, anti-ice, auto, recall, checked, flight controls, checked, ground equipment, clear, APU, off, before taxi checklist, complete. And of course the 777 is pushing straight in front of us. Oh, he's gone. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, request taxi. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, request taxi. I was really hoping he would give me taxi now in case the 777 locks back on, so that we could at least go in front of him. Because now if the 777 locks back on, then that's another 2 minutes of delay, which I certainly don't hope there to be. Because I don't like waiting at the very end of the apron. You know, this is what I mean. Anybody who wants to push over here would get in front of us now. And that I absolutely want to avoid. Especially because the only aircraft that I can see is up there. I mean, just make us taxi up there. He's pushing into here, doesn't he? Or isn't he? So that seems a little bit uncoordinated once again. Whittiam coasters, does the Horizon 789 have a cabin? I don't think so. And Bella, when is the Phoenix V2 due again? Well, next update is supposed to be for this month. Right, so that guy should have stayed clear of the taxiway.
Again, please.
So, what are we waiting for?
Do you need much time for taxi?
I don't think so.
Why are we waiting? I don't get it. What is ATC doing? No, 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 no. Ah, that's better. No! The British is back! God darn it!
Oh my, it's disconnecting from the Yoke controls again.
Open microphone, my friend.
Lufthansa 32 Lima is ready for taxi.
Patrice Lima, confirm ready for taxi.
Confirm.
Patrice Lima, Roger, taxi to holding point, runway 23, Bayern Zulu 1 Orange Line and Alpha 1.
Zulu 1 Orange Line, Alpha 1.
Come on, guys. Do something. This is annoying.
Lufthansa 33 Lima.
Hello, Hamburg ground, 693,
Libra 3294 ready for taxi.
Libra 3394, taxi to holding point and runway 23, Bayern Zulu 1 and Alpha 1.
Taxi 01 Alpha 1, holding point 23, Libra 3294.
So, am I getting taxi now? For November Echo.
For November Echo, sorry, yes, go ahead.
Waiting for taxi since 5 minutes.
Yeah, for November Echo, call you back shortly to very full run.
Yeah, but the British that locks on gets it straight away, huh?
Yes, because he spawned there and went offline.
Yeah, so the British is gone again. Why don't we get taxi? Fucking hell. Unbelievable. What are they doing? And there he is, man. Come on, guys.
444 taxi to stand 54 via Zulu 3.
To stand 54 via Zulu 3, your wings 444.
For November Echo taxi to holding point, runway 23 via Zulu 1 and Alpha 1.
Zulu 1 Alpha 1, Lufthansa 4 November Echo.
Swift 123.
Right, straight ahead, and at the end to the right.
Swift 123 over to tower 121, correction 126855. Please wait for handoff.
Okay, takeoff briefing then. It's gonna be left to takeoff runway 23 flaps.
After Zulu 1 over to Alpha 3.
Zulu 1 Alpha 3, Lufthansa 4 November Echo. Left to takeoff 23 flaps 5, noise abatement 2, takeoff speeds 138, 143, 152. Straight ahead at 1,000, no, at 2,000 we contact departure, and that is mostly it. Let's see, what else do we have? I don't think anything in particular, except that the weather is getting really bad over here, so we might have to consider a takeoff alternate in case anything happens. Might not be able to come back to Hamburg, but instead continue on towards, what's it called, Hanover or Bremen? Preferably, definitely Hanover over Bremen. Okay, so here we're sitting, waiting again. Any questions on the briefing? Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Taxi holding point runway 23, Zulu 5 Zulu.
And here we are standing again. It's unbelievable. Alpha 3 straight ahead. Oh no, they are re-clearing for departures of runway 33. No. No, 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 no. That brings up Zurich vibes.
Okay, information Papa, runway 33, cleared Berlin, Ramo.
That brings up Zurich vibes. Come on, guys, you can do better than that.
Bravo Delta also for you. New aid information Papa, departure on runway 33, ready to copy the clearance.
Yes, they are re-clearing.
Bravo Delta information Papa clearance.
And Anyanea Tower, hi Emmy, for your flying hours, do you count block time as well in real life? Yeah, block time is exactly what you, block time is what you lock.
Visa for Golf departure. And also Condor 2 Bravo Delta,
and Crimson Ghost, at least this lets you appreciate real ATC when you go back to work. Yep. That's it. Alright, let's see. Let's see if they're going to give us the reclearance or if we are going to be the last on runway 23. I could really imagine both. I mean, we are still in a position where we can go, where we can swing out to the left and then taxi over to runway 33. We can do that. So the speedboat just got transferred to the tower. I think before I'm going straight and commit for runway 23, I might just about ask ATC what we're gonna do. Oh man, visibility is really becoming bad now. Look at that. The visibility is really going down. We might be going into low-vis procedures here soon.
Apron, schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa 3 Sierra Tango, ready for push and start.
So, brake is off. Let's just quickly ask him if we shall proceed to the holding point. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, shall we continue to Alpha 3 or can we expect a reclearance?
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, negative, continue to Earth.
Roger, into Alpha 3, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, and we're ready anytime.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, roger, over the tower, 126855.
126855, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, bye.
Apron.
Tower low, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, heavy, ready. Not 100% sure we fit behind that. probably don't fit behind the 767 over there, but let's have a quick look on the other side. Let's see if we can see the wingtips here. No, we can't. Okay, but that should be fine, I think. Let's see it from the outside.
15 with the last
Yeah, it's fine. Just about, but it's fine. Look at that. Look at the wingtip. That's really just a meter or so. Well, okay, it is a bit more. It's like 5 meters. Not perfect, but alright. Alright, we're about as far forward as we can go. Lights off. The taxi light is always a good signal to the other pilots if you intend to move or not. So the Lufthansa over there that's got the taxi light on basically indicates he's about to line up to anybody else. But looks like he actually is. Well, now he's stopping again.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, line up runway 23.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, line up runway 23. Wow, didn't expect that. I certainly did absolutely not expect that yet. So he's actually pulling us ahead of the others. I do appreciate that. I do really appreciate that. While we do it, quick one more look at the departure chart to confirm the departure frequency. 134255. Okay. 134.255. Okay, I've done better lineups in the past.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, wind 090 degrees, 3 knots, runway 23, clear for takeoff, no delay.
23, clear takeoff, no delay. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, ciao. Okay, stabilized. Set takeoff thrust.
Bravo Charlie, Hamburg Tower, hello, number 3. Number 3.
Takeoff thrust set. $80 knots, checked. So let's see how the rotation is going to work out this time. The plane is a little bit prone to tail strike at the moment, as the takeoff law needs a little bit refinement, but let's see. V1, rotate. Yeah, that was a tail strike again. Even though 7.5 degrees seems a bit early to me, but anyway, positive climb, gear up. Nice, by the way, how you could see the taxi light go off as I retracted the landing gear. Right then, LNAV, VNAV, and autopilot. So, 210 knots restriction means we gotta keep flaps 1 for a little while. And flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. Checklist incomplete normal, I disagree with you, my friend. Checklist override, thank you. And passing 2000, let's call departure. Bremen Radar, schönen guten Abend. Lufthansa 2, correction 4 November Echo Heavy, 2600, climbing 5000.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, Bremen, radar identified, time flight level 100.
Climb flight level 100, Lufthansa 4 November Echo. Alright, so 210 knot restrictions just for the next waypoint, thereafter we can continue acceleration. And I've just come back to climb 2D rate over here. You can see our vertical speed was approaching 5,000 feet a minute, and that is definitely not something that we absolutely need to fly. Alright, set standard. Standard cross-check passing 5.8. Now. Checked. So there's been a couple questions earlier if this airplane has a weather radar. Flaps up. The answer is it has the standard Asobo weather radar. Now, I don't like to call that a weather radar because it really isn't one. But you know, it has that.
5,000 feet and Q&A.
Though I don't like it for that reason, I'll stay on the train display over here.
Center von November Echo, contact Stream Radar 123.925, vorbei.
123 925, Lufthansa von November Echo, schönen Abend. 123.925. Bremenradar, schon genannt. Lufthansa von November Echo Heavy, Level 79er, climbing 100.
Lufthansa von November Echo, Bremen Radar contact, climb flight level 230.
Climb flight level 230, Lufthansa von November Echo. Any higher levels available today?
Unfortunately not.
Roger. Okay, set 230 checked. Alright, so 230 is indeed going to be final. That's unfortunate, but if that's all we're going to get, then that's all we're going to get. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete. So with that tail strike on the takeoff, I discussed it in a little bit more depth on our earlier sector of flying here, rather than flying back. Basically, the plane at the moment has a bug that can cause the nose to really shoot up when you pull just a little bit on the rotation, and that makes it almost impossible to avoid tail strikes at the moment in the add-on. That is something that they're still actively working on, so that is going to be fixed before the official release in about 2 weeks' time. And well, I do expect that they are going to get that one ironed out. In the meantime, though, as I briefed on our departure in Frankfurt, we are going to ignore the effects of the tail strike, because otherwise the plane would simply turn out unflyable for us. And AVM, 7.5 degrees shouldn't be a tail strike. The Dash 9 has a 9.7 degree pitch attitude for tail strike. Alright, yeah, I guess I do believe that. And Aeronautics Fanboy, no worries, I didn't leak the release date. Somebody from the team said it earlier in the comments under the stream. So that is just where I picked that one up on. And if somebody of the Horizon team can say it, then I can do as well. My opinion, at least. So no, it didn't slip out. Somebody of the Horizon team said it in the comments. At least I do believe that guy was of the Horizon team. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not going to repeat that date. But I do believe that is what they're targeting. However, keep in mind, that may just be what they are targeting at the moment. That is not necessarily what is going to happen. If something happens that might delay the release, then so be it. I'd much rather have them produce a good add-on than producing, you know, something that's delivered exactly on schedule. Hopefully not to the extent of a certain electronic flight bag, but most certainly, if it takes a week or so longer, then totally fine. Okay, so let's have a quick look into here. Arrival at 1/4 past. Now, I think that's quite a realistic arrival time, so we'll probably be on the stand by 1/2 past. Something around that area.
Sorry for delay.
Okay, so, nicely climbing, again using climb D rate number 2, because that is producing sufficient rate of climb while keeping the engine nice and cool. 530 degrees EGT is certainly much nicer for the engine than like 600 or whatever we would get if we went to full climb rating now. 128.760 Lufthansa von November Echo, tschüss. Bremenradar, schon genannt. Lufthansa von November Echo Heavy, Level 189er, climbing 230. Third Natsu, Lufthansa von November Echo. Okay, Natsu, here it is. And that is looking good. Elnaf available. Elnaf. 3,000 to go. Approaching. So 2000 to go, vertical speeds. Tell you what, there doesn't seem to be any traffic ahead, so let's go ahead and accelerate this a little. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, any speed restriction?
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, free speed.
Free speed, 4 November Echo. Alright, then let's do 340 knots. We are running late enough by now. Okay, so that looks quite okay now. So, perfect. Quick look outside. Let's have a look at how that looks in the dark. Did you see on the ground in Hamburg how we've had all those 3D lights that were reflecting in the fog? That looked really impressive if you ask me. Okay, looks like we're leveling off. Yep, we are. Okay then, I'll just quickly go in here and cruising speed. Let's change to 340. Execute. VNAV. Okay, cool. So, let's see. Top of descent. Beyond Kerax. Well, I don't believe that. But Kerax shouldn't be flight level 110 or above. It should be at flight level 110. So let's change that real quick. Here we go. And that gives us a new top of descent like 120 miles out. And so, Tober, thank you very much for the 20 Canadian dollar donation. That's really appreciated. For all your expert advice and tireless effort, thank you. Very much so, Tober. Thank you very much. That's really appreciated. And Pamir Nasrat, when you flew the 737, would you follow the optimum flight level from the FMC? Well, things were a little bit more complicated than that, so I do suggest that you have a look at my tutorial on how we pick our cruising level. I did a detailed tutorial on that where I explained all the stuff, and I can really recommend you to have a look into that. There's a lot of stuff going into that. Too much to actually explain on this flight. Right, let's see. That guy's below us. That guy's below us and descending. Very good. So there's really a little bit too much going into it to explain it all on this live stream, especially since this one is dedicated to the 787. Now, what's important here on the 78 is the following. You can see we've got our optimum and we've got a maximum here. To the left, we've got the ICAO step climb size, and I would normally change that to 2,000 feet and not keep the standard ICAO stuff. However, we're so close to the TD, we probably don't get any step climb calculated here. Now, what the real plane has over here is the recommended flight level. That one is unfortunately not simulated, it seems. That one is grayed out. Now, the recommended flight level would be a little bit different to the optimum. The optimum only takes into account things like, for example, the temperature or the current temperature, the current gross weight, and the current airspeed. However, the recommended flight level would actually take the winds into account as well. That is something that you will see in action on the PNDG 777. When you're uplinking wind data, you always get it for several flight levels. Let's do that once more real quick. Let's get the latest winds, and then I'm going to show you what I mean. Right, can we clear that somehow? Thank you. Alright, wind data loads. So here we go. Here we've got wind data. Now, as you can see, there are several different flight levels included in this. And based on the wind data and the temperatures that we've got for all the different levels, the airplane would now calculate the recommended flight level, which is really the most economical level you can fly. Optimum is the aerodynamic optimum, recommended is the economic optimum. And the recommended is actually what we would follow if we had that feature in the 737. Now, we do have it on the A330. The A330's optimum level would do exactly that as well. So that is how you can do that stuff in the Airbus. The Airbus has it by default. And AVM, does my cruise tutorial involve why many long-haul flights involve climbs midway through the flight? I think it does, but I think I've actually done a separate tutorial on step climbs, which I can recommend you as well. And Myron Dyers, hi Emmanuel, did you pre-order the TFDI MD-11? No, I didn't. I don't like to purchase something where I'm not sure when I'm gonna get it and in what shape it's gonna be then, and so on. So I'm not a fan to pay for beta testing, so I didn't pre-order the TFDI MD-11. And then Ufran, hi, nice to see you first of all. What is my opinion of the aircraft so far? So my first opinion is, it is beautiful looking, obviously. But most importantly, it just is a 787-9. It's the most popular version of it. The quality of the add-on itself seems quite similar to the Kuro 787, and indeed, Kuro has worked on this one as well, together with the Horizon team. So that's basically, yeah, that's really it. Like, if you like the Kuro 787-8, you're going to like the Horizon 787-9. And in my opinion, both of them are better than the 787-10 that Asobo made themselves, but I suppose that is somewhat self-explanatory and not very hard to achieve. But let me put things in a different way. How do I like flying this? How do I like what's going on? How do I like everything that's evolving around this airplane? I honestly gotta tell you that this is an airplane that, as long as you only want to fly standard operating procedure, that you can absolutely use in a similar way to your favorite study level aircraft. Obviously, this isn't study level. It is simplified in many reasons, but it has a lot of the stuff that other add-ons don't have, and it has most of the stuff that you would be using on a normal flight. And that's the most important thing overall, isn't it? Like, you can do your normal A to B flight following SOPs, and of course it is simplified, but I honestly tell you, for what the majority of flight simmers are going to use, this is just about perfect. Really is. It really is. Alright, talk about just about perfect. Except for dialing in that minimum. That is a little annoying, really. Come on. No! Hey, minima, do what I tell you to do. Here we go. 570, that's what we wanted. Okay, very good. So that stuff's in now. Let's go ahead and have a very quick look in the Frankfurt arrival latest. They have information Romeo and expect an independent parallel ILS Yankee 25 right or ILS 25 left. With the radar vectors, GLS on request, do not mistake Mike for 25 center when performing visual approach. Transition level 70, wind 170 at 6, temperature 14, QNH 1002, trend nosec. Alright, so that's 1002. Let's go ahead and put that thing in. Here we go. 1002 is selected. Then for the descent, tell you what, let's do 0.8/340. We want to stay fast for as long as possible. Like so, and then 250 below 100. And then we can delete the speed on transition over there. Perfect. Forecast page, transition level 70. Interesting. 70 should absolutely be an acceptable entry. But okay. And then destination is going to be Frankfurt. Let's draw a 25-mile ring for MSA awareness around the airport. But that's really all. Okay, auto brakes 1. Or probably auto brakes too, and then we'll see whatever exit we can catch with that. Last thing for us to do over here, 7.9 on arrival, 10.4 right now. That's quite a lot of fuel. But yeah, at the speed we are flying right now, look at that fuel flow. It's 7.2 tons per hour. That is a lot. So that 3 tons burning, that 3-ton burn that we have in here actually does seem logical. Alright, so 3.4 tons to come off the landing weight is going to be 166.4, but I tell you what, let's take 167, just so that we're a little bit on the safer side. Flaps 30, 142 knots, looks good, and I think that's all we need for the approach preparation. Alright then. Descent checklist. Recall, checked, auto brakes, 2, landing data, 030, 142, Minsk Barrow 570, approach briefing completed, descent checklist complete, and that's it. Alright, very good. So with that, I do believe that all our preparations are completed as they should be, and that is it. So standing by for the descent over here, and Debug is in the comments. I wish there was a key binding for the minimum dial. Frustrates the living daylight off from me. Yeah, totally understand that. Totally understand that. And Debug is hot for landing, please. Okay. Here you go. By the way, look at that. This is our default seating position in here. And look at how perfectly the HUD is aligned. Look at that, the HUD is perfectly centered in the screen now, not getting off on either side. Very good job at that. They placed the default viewpoint really nicely in here. That's certainly an improvement over the 787-10 and Asobo's default viewpoint. This one's much better. Much better. Normally I don't like to fly with a head-up display too much, but I suppose we're going to have it over there. And Watson Pilot is asking, will it be free? Yes. And Mark 1141, is the wear and tear part of the 789 or with a different texture mod? I'm not 100% sure on how the 787-9 is actually working there, but I do believe that they have or that they use the standard cockpit textures of the 787, and I have replaced those with the Polystorm textures, payware for like 15 bucks or so from Sim Market, and soon hopefully on the marketplace. And those are probably what you see in here, because they do remind me very much of the Polystorm textures. So I guess they are defaulting to the standard textures, and then since I've replaced those with the Polystorm, that is probably what I'm getting in here. Lufthansa 4 November Echo, descent level 190.
Lufthansa 4 Zulu November, proceed.
Quite early. Let's just do vertical speed, minus 1,000. Like so. Leaving cruise level, let's turn on the seatbelt sign. Who knows, on the last flight it was pretty good that we turned it on early, so let's see about this one. It's pretty quiet over here right now, but... 124-730, Lufthansa vorne beim Echo. Vielen Dank, schönen Abend, tschüss. Langen schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa vorne November Echo Heavy, Level 224, descending 190 in Matsu.
Lufthansa vorne Echo Lang, radar height over, identify. Contact now, Langen, 127, this is 725, ciao.
127, 725, Lufthansa vorne November Echo, tschö. That was a short stay. Langen, schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa vorne November Echo Heavy, Level 220, descending 190 in Matsu.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, Langen identified, report indicated airspeed.
340, Lufthansa 4 November Echo.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, roger, with speed 270.
270, Lufthansa 4 November Echo. And here the delays go again.
Lufthansa 3 Alpha confirmed by Kirak. Correct, Kirak.
270, that's like 70 knots slower.
Lufthansa 3 Alpha Kirak for Kirak for Alpha Row.
Yeah, well, ain't gonna complain. So, 270. Why is that an invalid entry? Oh, that should absolutely be a valid entry, my friend. Does it demand me to put a Mach number in front? That is not how it should work. Okay, that's a bug there. You should be able to enter just the speed without a Mach number. Alright, let's do level change so that the plane slows down a little bit quicker. There was a rather slow reduction we saw there, and I can tell you straight away from the A330 that speed reduction takes a lot of time on modern heavy aircraft because there's a lot of energy involved and they are very aerodynamic. But, you know, sometimes we might as well just help it a bit. Especially when ATC tells us the speed. Normally they should be able to anticipate it, but on VATSIM that doesn't always happen, so for that reason. I'm just going level change over here. Instead of letting the speed bleed off slowly, we might as well let it bleed off a little bit quicker. Alright, and Banandot and Ufran, maybe try /270. Suppose I could give that a try. It's just about return to vertical speed mode over here. Let's see. /280? How's that gonna work? Oh yeah, that works. Okay. Well, I suppose that's fine for us. Lufthansa 4 November Echo descent flight level 110. Set. 110 checked. Alright, should be level around about at Karax, so if I just keep the 1000 feet a minute, that means we're going to be level just in front of Karax. Fine as well. Now I could go ahead and manipulate the vertical speed so that we really get a constant way going down, but tell you honestly, that is what we did in my old airline. That was a lot of work we put into it, and what's the difference really? You might fly level for a couple miles, it's gonna take a couple kilos more of fuel, but ultimately what are you going to win of it? You know, not too much. Alright, Rui Martins has been asking. Very Karax, cleared for Alpha arrival, Lufthansa 4 November Echo. Okay, direct to Karax. And Karax 4 Alpha arrival is what we've got in the box already. So I suppose this guy over here is in front of us. And he's probably the reason why we needed to reduce our speed. Even though I'm wondering, if we just kept the speed up high, if we might have been able to overtake him and become number one in front of him, but we'll see about it. I suppose we'll just see about it. Alright. AVM is asking in the chat, without the HUD display, is there an easier way to see if you're on a 3-degree pitch than on the PFD? Well, you can't tell the exact pitch just by looking outside the airplane, but you can somewhat tell the, you know, you start to develop a feeling for it, and ultimately what I would normally do is I look at the PFD in order to determine my pitch. Easy as that. However, you know, in order to maintain your pitch, you might as well just look outside the airplane. So, getting or taking on a new pitch is something that you would normally do via the displays. Ultimately, you are flying IFR after all. But, you know, thereafter, if you can see something outside, then you can always just look outside in order to maintain it. But a good panel scan would imply that every couple of seconds you would just look down at the PFD anyway, and you would use that to cross-check the altitude or the attitude at which you are flying. And November Alpha, thank you very much for a €10 donation. Best Saturday evening entertainment. Thank you very much, November Alpha. I appreciate to hear that. And Sailor is asking, how is the VNAV climb or descent rate? Well, the climb rate honestly simply depends on the speed and the thrust that you're using, and it is exactly as I would expect it, you know? At the low weights at which we are flying over here, if I'm going full blast, obviously I'm getting 6,000 feet a minute. That is absolutely expected and realistic. With the descent rate, well, I kind of wish ATC would actually let us fly one, but doesn't look like it, so for that reason I do suppose we are eventually not going to find out. But from what I can see, you know, looking at the speed at which the VNAV path is coming in over there, seeing that we descend at 1,000 feet a minute already, things look decent to me. I don't know how they simulated the VNAV in here, but the top of descent, the location and everything looked pretty decent, so I am quite happy with those. Obviously couldn't actually get to try it and couldn't actually get to fly a VNAV descent because ATC had other plans for us. Just like in real life, by the way, it barely happens that you actually do a CDA in a Frankfurt or that you use VNAV at all. Usually it's just vertical speeds given by air traffic control. Normally they just tell you, descend to flight level so-and-so, 2,000 feet a minute, 1,500 feet a minute, sometimes 3,000 feet a minute, and that is how you do the descents in a Frankfurt. It's realistic, guys. It's realistic. You wouldn't, in real life you wouldn't fly, in real life you typically wouldn't fly VNAV descents on, you know, arrivals in a Frankfurt. And Ufran, what's the normal rate of descent you have in the A330? Well, in the 330, normally between 1 and 2,000 feet a minute. The plane really is a glider, so at 250 knots idle thrust it gives you 1,000 feet a minute. A little bit up higher you can get like 2,000 feet a minute, but anything more and you really need to fly fast to build up some drag. But normal speed, 300 knots, something the likes.
Mike Alpha, contact arrival 120, decimal 805.
Mike Alpha, arrival 120, thank you, bye-bye.
And Schlagsim.
November Echo, contact arrival 120, decimal 805.
120.805, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, tschüss. Frankfurt, schönen guten Abend, Lufthansa 4 November Echo Heavy, Level 144, descending 110, inbound Kirax, information Romeo.
Lufthansa 4 November Echo, lange guten Abend, information Sierra, expect alle Yankee 25 right.
Sierra, Yankee 25 right, Lufthansa 4 November Echo, and we have 270 knots.
4 November Echo, what's our use speed, 260 knots.
Why did I even say anything? 260, Lufthansa 4 November Echo.
Ja, wenn du mir die Schnellvorlage gibst, dann kriegst du es.
Merkt das schon. Okay.
Frankfurt arrival.
Always the same, huh? You want to help him, and it turns out against you.
Speed is 290.
But if that guy's going 290, there shouldn't be any problem at all. But it's fine. We're doing good as we are. And then Schlagsim has been asking, do you prefer a side stick over a yoke? I feel like using a yoke to fly is more fun, it gives you more control, but I've never flown an aircraft beside a glider, so it's not for me to judge. Well, honestly, whether you use a side stick or whether you use a yoke makes pretty much no difference at all. Flying an A330 feels just about the same like flying a glider, and I think you will agree that in the glider you have perfect control over the plane, right? And it's the same in the A330. Personally, I prefer flying the side stick because it means that there is a lot more space in front of me in the cockpit, so you can eventually move your legs a little bit around and you might be able to lie down in a more comfortable position in that seat and stuff like that. And yeah, as much as flight simmers do like to talk about real flying or not real flying, I honestly tell you, the comfort ultimately becomes the overriding concern for you if you're flying commercially, for the very simple reason that, yes, flying as nice as it is, it really makes not much of a difference if you have a side stick or if you have a yoke, if you fly a complete fly-by-wire plane like an Airbus, or if you fly, you know, a Boeing 737. Ultimately, it's flying, and whether you point a Boeing somewhere with a yoke or whether you point an Airbus somewhere with a side stick, to me it makes no difference at all. 1,000 to go. And Richard, is this aircraft better to fly than the default 787 in the sim? Well, I tend to say it's quite similar. It's a 787 after all. Yeah, quite similar, I tend to say. And then, Ilek Moto, hello Captain. I had an accident. Lufthansa for November Echo, right heading 210, descent flight level 100. Heading select, 1000 to go. So we're like 5 miles from this guy.
Alpha descending flight level 70 and confirm high speed is approved below flight level 100.
And he gave us the Yankee approach, so we might... Yeah, we have that. Very good.
Alpha descending flight level 70 and B280, okay.
But then we need to change our minimums. It's actually 260 and not 270. I was mentally on the other runway. So let's see where that vectoring is eventually going to take us. We'll have to find out. But it doesn't sound very busy at the moment, so it might as well just become a straight-in approach. Which I would somewhat appreciate after all the traffic we had over in Hamburg. This might just, if this becomes a nice and easy... Lufthansa for November Echo, descent flight level 80. Is that gonna be straight in? Very nice, thanks. Okay, so it is gonna be straight in. In that case, tell you what. Interesting, I click erase. Here we go. That's better. Right, let's do Delta Fox 430. No, 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 no. Don't freeze up, my friend. Don't freeze up. It has frozen. Come on. Recover, please. Don't crash. I just wanted to tidy up my flight plan. Yeah, that looks like the simulator has frozen over here. Come on, my friend. You can do better, Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can absolutely do better. But look at that. Nope, it's frozen. Lufthansa for November Echo, looks like the simulator froze over here. Can we stay locked in for a bit, or do you want us to log off?
For November Echo, yeah, you just disappeared on my radar screen. You're still connected?
At least I can talk to you, yeah. But I guess it's gonna disconnect me any moment then anyway. So I do suppose the simulator has crashed, so thank you very much for the very nice ATC. And I suppose I hear you next time.
Yeah, Roger. Thanks very much for flying, and I'm very sorry what happened, because you just disappeared in a moment you talked to me, so I wasn't sure if you just got kicked out. So have a very pleasant evening and a good start in the week.
Cheers, you too.
So, see Mike Alpha.
Alright, I suppose that's it, guys. That simulator is not gonna recover. If it hasn't by now, then it isn't going to, do either. Well, I suppose that's all we can do over here, so I do apologize for that, guys. Next time, different aircraft. I do hope it's not gonna happen again. And, TY, do I think it froze due to the mod? I don't think so, because after Sim Update 13, when I did my first flight on the 787, the thing crashed as well. So, ever since it worked on 3 separate flights, but yeah, I guess it's just something with that Sim Update 13 and the 787 that's caused some problems for me, so it's probably something on the local system, but not 100% sure. In any case, I don't see that this is recovering anymore, so thank you very much for watching, guys. Wish you a nice evening, and if I'm going to the Horizon Sim Discord, then I can see that there are a couple other live streams going on. For example, Captain Canada should be live with the 787 at the moment. Maybe head over there, maybe you can catch something nice over there. He's flying from, what's he flying? Antalya to Amsterdam, so that certainly sounds interesting as well. And he does seem to be on his way, so I suppose if you want to see some more of the 787, then do head over to Captain Canada. And over there you can catch the 787 in flight, currently at level 400. So I see you all again on the next one. In the meantime, enjoy your weekends, and then I see you all around.